passengers and crew were moved to another plane, and they continued safely to the state of Illinois late last night. Mayor Emanuel not responding to demands that he push for a federal consent decree to govern police reforms. On the fifth floor, AM 560's David Stewart has the latest from City Hall.
Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan says Mayor Emanuel should pursue his initial idea to seek federal court oversight for police reform. Emanuel, though, recently has said that under the Trump Justice Department, the city may pursue something short of that, a special monitor. But he said either way, he's committed to reform.
We need somebody from the outside to help us. The only question is whether you want it just to be an independent individual or you need also a judge from the federal court.
Madigan says it's ludicrous for Emanuel to seek an agreement with an administration that doesn't believe in the need for police reform. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A suburban Chicago singer with thousands of teenage followers online faces child porn charges for allegedly instructing two female fans to send him sexually explicit videos of themselves. 24-year-old Austin Jones of Bloomingdale appeared in a Chicago federal courtroom wearing an orange jail jumpsuit and ankle chains. He said he understood the charges. Two of the counts include production of child pornography. Each one carries a minimum of a 15-year prison sentence. The fans were about 14 years old. Another piece of government in the state is seeing its credit dinged because of the lack of a state budget. Moody's Investors Service yesterday downgraded the RTA's credit rating. The Regional Transportation Authority oversees mass transit in the suburbs. Cook County judge orders a Chicago man held without bail in the stabbing death of a 12-year-old girl. Assistant State's Attorney Guy Luzo says Alexis Stubbs can be heard on voicemail screaming, "Daddy, don't," while she was stabbed late Sunday. John Singleton is charged with first-degree murder in her death. Meantime, police say Singleton previously served jail time for attacking the girl's mother. Officials at the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity say Sears Holdings' elimination of 400 jobs at their corporate headquarters means the company no longer qualifies for state tax breaks. Sears Holdings announcing the job cuts, part of a previously announced plan to save about $1.25 billion in costs per year. Police say a Chinese scholar visiting the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana campus has been missing now for days. Yingying Zhang's friends contacted police over the weekend to say they had not heard from the 26-year-old woman since last Friday. There's video of Zhang entering a black vehicle in Urbana 2 p.m. on Friday, shortly after getting off a bus. An eagle learns the hard way that, in spite of being the nation's symbol, it's no match for a glass facade of a towering downtown Chicago hotel. The eagle crashed into the Sofitel and walked, or maybe staggered, if you will, outside the entrance for quite some time before animal control finally netted it up. A group called the Chicago Bird Collision Monitor is hopeful the bird makes a full recovery and will be released back into the wild. Bird versus building collisions are quite common in Chicago and other major cities across the country, but the group says it's the first time in its 14-year history it's helped an eagle after a crash. Anthony Rizzo hit a leadoff home run. Cubs went on to crush the Mets 14-3. Ian Happ launching a grand slam during a 7-run second. Apparently grand slams were popular last night because Matt Davidson hit a salami in a White Sox 6-1 win over the Orioles. Derek Holland tossing 6 innings of 1-run ball for the White Sox in the win. The news, a service of Al Piemonte Ford. Stop before you buy your new car. You must visit Al Piemonte Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived. Everything priced to sell quickly. Al Piemonte Ford at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. 5:07 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Not even halfway through this first year in office, the political left and dinosaur media actually think they're going to impeach President Trump. Fake scandal after fake scandal dominate the headlines in the cable newsrooms, and not surprisingly, it's even causing establishment Republicans to get wobbly. Yeah, guess it didn't occur to them that making America great again was going to take some work. Sometimes work is hard. You know it, though, and so does the president. That's also why we're here. We never get wobbly. AM 560. The Answer.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours. And when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business. And it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
5:08, let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest this morning with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Got some crashes, one with injuries in Channahon, a Tryon near Knapp. And on the north side of Chicago, there's a two-car crash at Cornelia at Holstead. 8094 eastbound at I-65, all lanes are open again. After an earlier collision, traffic moves well there. Tri-State southbound, Southwest Highway to 111th. Some morning road work in the right lane till 7. I-55, things are looking good. Earlier ramp closures have wrapped up at 53 and 83. Inbound Bishop Ford, traffic's a little heavy now at Cottage Grove to the right. About a 1-minute delay. The traffic is a service of Cece's. Now at Cece's, party with the new stuffed crust trio. Bacon stuffed crust, a new grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Join the original with pepperoni. The stuffed crust party's on. The limited buffet for just $5 and change. Cece's prices may vary for a limited time only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Hot and humid today. We'll have clouds and sun mixed and an afternoon thunderstorm. The high near 91. Strong storms could bring some flash flooding and damaging winds overnight in a low of 72. Currently 75 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, how do you like your Jeff Sessions now, Amy Jacobson?
Oh, I like my Jeff Sessions a little cantankerous, a little ornery, but a little, aggressive. He was good.
Yeah, you were concerned that he wouldn't hold up to the dizzying intellects of Ron Wyden and Kamala Harris, and he did.
What's up with Ron Wyden, by the way?
What about him?
How long has he been there? I had never met the man before yesterday and was a little...
He's the only senator Oregon's ever had, as far as you know.
Oh, okay. He thinks that highly of himself?
He's been there for a long time. He was a member of Congress, then he moved over to the Senate, and you can see why.
Yeah, that, as you say, dizzy and intellect.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Iowa.
You go, guy.
Iowa Hawk had a great tweet yesterday. House of Cards is popular in D.C. because they prefer being depicted as homicidal evil geniuses rather than over-promoted student council morons. And that's a little bit of what you saw on display yesterday, the latter, not the former. Jeff Sessions, I thought, did a very nice job defending his reputation and vindicating particularly the rather salacious, unfair innuendo that Comey offered up when he testified last week, and frankly, highlighting the absurdity of much of what the Democrats are offering on this whole topic of Russian collusion. We'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Get your impressions. I know you don't do impressions. Your training is in the field of psychology, but we will take those impressions anyway.
You want to start with Wyden?
No.
No.
Let's just give an overall take.
Okay.
Let's get an overall take, and let's hear from Charles Krauthammer what he thought of it after taking it all in.
No, I think he helped himself a lot. He basically uncovered or sort of exposed the absurdity of this whole exercise. I mean, this is supposed to be about Russian meddling in our election. That wasn't even an issue. Then it was supposed to be about the collusion. There's not an ounce of evidence. I'm open to empirical evidence. I used to be a doctor. You show me the facts, I'm willing to change my opinion. You know, this has been investigated for 7 months. There have been leaks like the Titanic, and yet has there been any leak of anything implicating the president or in the collusion with the Russians? No. And trying to tag it on Sessions is even more absurd.
I will cede my time to Charles Krauthammer, who has been trained in the field of psychology. Any disagreements with that distillation?
No. But of course, the left this morning is saying that he was stonewalling and that he's the master of the Senate hearing, so he knew exactly how to answer every question because he's been asking the questions for so long.
Well, here's the thing. The left was left really just to say, well, we want characterizations, information about his private conversations with the president. They're not going to get them, and they're not entitled to them. Here's Jeff Sessions speaking to those colleagues, since he's so familiar with the chamber, part of his opening statement.
Let me state this clearly, colleagues. I have never met with or had any conversation with any Russians or any foreign officials concerning any type of interference with any campaign or election in the United States. Further, I have no knowledge of any such conversations by anyone connected to the Trump campaign. I was your colleague in this body for 20 years, at least some of you, and and the suggestion that I participated in any collusion, that I was aware of any collusion with the Russian government to hurt this country, which I have served with honor for 35 years, or to undermine the integrity of our democratic process, is an appalling and detestable lie.
Wow.
That's pretty...
He's Southern sweet and Southern stern.
Well, it was a categorical statement. It was not lacking in clarity, and this is an opportunity from my perspective, going back to the conversation we had for a time yesterday. This is an opportunity for Trump to build upon what Sessions did, offer up his own national address, issue similar statements of clarity, comprehensive explanation of what he understands to be true, what he is willing to do, that he is going to allow Bob Mueller to go wherever he wants to go, and if he finds wrongdoing, then bring it to light, and then I'm done with this. I'm not saying another word on the topic, and we're going to move back to all of those domestic policy imperatives I was elected to advance and affect. To me, it could be a watershed moment in this whole drama if Trump properly capitalizes on it. We'll see.
Yeah, and one question that I wanted answered was James Comey during his hearing had mentioned that he had spoken with Jeff Sessions and said, hey, I don't want to be left alone with the president. Well, Jeff Sessions had a little bit different interpretation of what happened.
We were there. I was standing there, and without revealing any conversation that took place, what I do recall is that I did depart. I believe everyone else did depart, and Director Comey was sitting in front of the president's desk, and they were talking. So that's what I do remember. I believe it was the next day that he said something, expressed concern about being left alone with the president. But that in itself is not problematic. He did not tell me at that time any details about anything that was said that was improper. I affirmed his concern that we should be following the proper guidelines of the Department of Justice, and basically backed him up in his concerns.
Complete opposite of what James Comey said. I mean, James Comey said that he never, he put that out there and that Jeff Sessions never responded. And there was even a follow-up question, I think, from Senator Frankenstein. So he didn't call you or write you back? And he said, no, he never responded to my request not to be left alone with the president. So that's just another contradiction.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a lie, but it's...
Well, it's also irrelevant.
Yeah.
Jim Comey said he needed a chaperone. I said, even if it were true. And I said, I got better things to do, Jim. You're a big boy. You're a grown-up. Is something improper going on? No. Did Comey indicate something improper was going on? No. He never did. I mean, until he was fired.
Right.
Then
And
all
now
of a
it's
sudden
all-
everything is recast. Yeah, Comey turns out to be the slippery character that I've described him to be, that he's manifested himself to be over the last year and a half. And this is why he should have been gone on day one. It was a mistake by the Trump administration. I understand the processing of getting Jeff Sessions confirmed and getting Rod Rosenstein and other senior personnel at Justice. But you know what? If you've got a cancerous growth, then you have it excised.
Mm-hmm. And I learned, Sessions denied a third meeting with the Russian ambassador, and that says he's never been briefed on Russian hacking of the 2016 election.
So just sticking on Comey for a second, the Comey innuendo, which your friend Ron Wyden brought up, that was one of the testier exchanges in the whole hearing. Here's Ron Wyden pushing that line of nefarious third meeting. Why would you have had to recuse yourself? But Jim Comey couldn't talk about it in public with us last week.
But I basically recused myself the first day I got into the office because I never accessed files. I never learned the names of investigators. I never met with them. I never asked for any documentation. The documentation, what little I received, was mostly already in the media and was presented by the senior ethics, public responsibility, professional responsibility attorney in the department. And I made a honest and proper decision to recuse myself, as I told Senator Feinstein and the members of the committee I would do when they confirmed me.
General Sessions, respectfully, you're not answering the question.
Well, what is the question?
The question is, Mr. Comey said that there were matters with respect to the recusal that were problematic and he couldn't talk about them. What are they?
Why don't you tell me? They are none, Senator Wyden. There are none. I can tell you that for absolute certainty. This is a secret innuendo being leaked out there about me, and I don't appreciate it. And I've tried to give my best and truthful answers to any committee I've appeared before, and it's really people are suggesting through innuendo that I have been not honest about matters. I tried to be honest.
My time is short. You've made your point that you think Mr. Comey is engaging in innuendo. We're going to keep digging.
Well, Senator Wyden, he did not say that.
He said it was problematic, and I asked you what was problematic about it.
Some of that leaked out of the committee that he said in closed sessions.
Yeah, which is also true. The more of the leaking. Look, by the way, Jeff Sessions then subsequently, as the Southern gentleman he is, invited Ron Wyden outside so he could teach him some manners. No, but this is what I'm telling you. There's nothing there.
Well, it's an appalling and despicable lie. That's what he classified it. That's how he said it.
By the way,
yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, his Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, was testifying before a Senate subcommittee in an exchange with the Hawaii senator. He, Brian Schatz, he said, hey, I can tell you, Jeff Sessions doesn't know what we're investigating, and then I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but that his recusal is a real recusal. There is no backdooring. There are no cutouts. He doesn't have any idea what we're doing, who we're investigating, and where we're at. Period, full stop.
And he also, on an ancillary issue, said that he would not fire Mueller.
If President Trump ordered you to fire the special counsel, what would you do?
Well, Senator, I'm not going to follow any orders unless I believe those are lawful and appropriate orders.
And he doesn't believe so.
Sharon and Itasca here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I believe that Sessions did a great job defending himself. But like the old saying of a rose by any other name would still smell as sweet. The Democrats really have nowhere to go because the Republicans have hooked so far to the left. Case in point, President Trump wants the health care bill that he once praised within the last, 30 days. It's mean. It's got to be redone by the Senate. And what he wants is universal health care. So whether it's universal health care that we get via him with a Republican label or a Democrat like Kennedy, it really doesn't matter. And this is what frustrates people like me. When he ran on Drain the Swamp, that I thought he alluded to shrinking the size of the federal government. Instead, what they're going to do is add on to failure. So this whole thing has just been a ruse on the American public. And there's a real good article in the American Thinker which states how we have been duped into thinking that President Trump was actually under investigation. They kept the conversation going now for all these months. He never was. And you had high-ranking officials on both parties, their staff, probably 1,000 people who knew this, and yet the public was deluded and led to believe that the president, which would have been a big thing, was actually under investigation, which he was not. I'll tell you, as a citizen, it's getting more and more frustrating to want to think about an excuse to actually go and vote, because I really see no difference between the two parties. But I am glad that Sessions did a good job defending himself. I think he's a good man.
Thanks, Sharon. Thank you.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You're mean. Today, hot and humid with times of clouds and sun. Hopefully an afternoon thunderstorm, a high of 91 degrees, but a lot cooler near the lake. It felt like we had free air conditioning yesterday. And then tonight, strong thunderstorms can bring some flash flooding and damaging winds, a low of 72. Well, let's just jump into that Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Open up the curtains and say good morning to Jim Telemonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. You have an early morning delay on Metra's Milwaukee West line. The train that's due downtown at 5:30 is running up to 20 minutes late. There's some signal problems. See the usual morning slowdowns on inbound I-57 at the Bishop Ford. Travel times looking at about 21 minutes either way. There between I-80 and the merge on the either I-57 or the Bishop Ford outbound. Both are clear. And the Ryan has 2 or 3 minutes worth of delays. The inbound side starting around 18th Street. The Edens, Kennedy, and Eisenhower fine. Inbound Stevenson now heavy, starting at Harlem Avenue. Some slow pockets between there and Lakeshore Drive. 37 minutes, 3:55 at the drive. Tollways are good, no problems. Shreveport in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Podcasts of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series this week featuring State Senator Dan McConkey, freshman Republican from Hawthorne Woods, discussing his proposal for a constitutionally balanced Illinois state budget that does not raise taxes. 60 Seconds of Sanity, my commentaries this week featuring the oleaginous Jim Comey we were discussing previously. 2-minute warnings about bad actors in public office. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. MyPartsGarage.com is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory. Your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state, next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Right now, MyPartsGarage.com will price match your order, and yes, the shipping is still free. The last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find parts. The average driver in Chicago commutes at least 24 miles per day. People are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed and free shipping.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product. Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
If you love the hunt, this message is for you. I'm talking about the hunt for special antique collectibles, furniture, and decorative items that make your home sweet home special. If that sounds like you, then here's where you'll find Chicago's best kept treasures. Home on the Highway on Northwest Highway on Chicago's Northwest Side. They've got an amazing selection of antique collectibles and furniture with a mid-century modern focus. Plus, you'll find vintage decorative items and loads of man cave. AM 560 listeners receive a 10% discount on your first purchase. Home on the Highway, home of Chicago's best kept treasures, is easy to find at 6122 Northwest Highway in Chicago, close to all the great Chicago neighborhoods and Park Ridge. Plus, there's plenty of free parking. Call 312-437-0532 for information. Like Home on the Highway on Facebook and visit homeonthehighway.net. 312-437-0532.
As the head of procurement for my company, I was sweating a big deadline and got tired of calling my printer for updates, only to hear excuses. So I heard about McGrath Printing Custom Apparel and gave them a call. I got A+ service and they beat the deadline. McGrath Printing really saved my...
I'm a supply chain manager for a Fortune 500 company, and we had $50,000 of product waiting for instruction manuals because our printer couldn't deliver on time. One call to McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, and they saved my...
At McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, they've been saving companies for over 35 years. Give them a call at 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. And mention code AM560 and get 20% off your first order. So remember,
go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Megyn Kelly defends her decision to interview Alex Jones.
And she's been dropped from being the MC from an event involving Sandy Hook. And later, the perfect swimsuit for Dan Proft. It'll be turning heads in the opposite direction. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's the one and only, the awesomeness of Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, thank you. Good morning,
You're welcome.
everyone. 72 degrees. That's a heavy burden to bear. We're in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom this morning. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. London authorities say there are a number of fatalities in a massive apartment fire. It's believed the blaze ravaging the Grenfell Tower. It's claimed a number of lives in that public housing block. The number of deaths is not known. Paul Woodrow is Director of Operations for the London Ambulance Service.
Over 100 of our medics working hard here in response to this incident, including emergency ambulance crews, advanced paramedics, specialist trauma teams, and our hazardous area response teams.
Firefighters are still battling that blaze. It's engulfed the entire 24-story building. Pacific coast of Mexico rocked by an underwater earthquake this morning. The powerful magnitude 7 quake struck off the coast of Chiapas. Pacific Tsunami Warning Center says right now there's no threat of tsunami from the quake. 2 Georgia inmates serving long prison sentences who authorities say are dangerous beyond description overpowered and killed 2 guards on a prison bus before fleeing in a stolen car yesterday. This morning they are still on the loose. Attorney General Jeff Sessions taking claims he might have colluded with the Russians during last year's election campaign very personally.
Which I have served with honor for 35 years, or to undermine the integrity of our democratic process is an appalling and detestable lie.
In a Senate hearing yesterday, Sessions insisted he never had any discussions with any Russian officials about meddling in the presidential election. The American college student released by North Korea is back in the U.S. Otto Warmbier is in a coma, immediately taken to an Ohio hospital for treatment. Jury deliberations in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial continue for a third day. A Michigan woman this morning suing Delta Airlines for $10 million. Her attorney argues that the airline employees did not do enough to prevent a man from sexually assaulting her on a flight from South Carolina to Detroit last year. Here in Chicago, 2 men are hospitalized after they stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach, one of those in critical condition. Suburban Chicago's singer with hundreds of thousands of teenage followers online is facing child pornography charges for allegedly instructing female fans to send him sexually explicit videos of themselves. A federal judge weighing a lawsuit that seeks to block parts of a new Indiana abortion law says she'll issue a ruling before the law takes effect. Planned Parenthood wants an injunction blocking the law's provisions that would make it tougher for girls under the age of 18 to get an abortion in Indiana without their parents' knowledge. Cubs crushed the Mets 14-3. Matt Davidson's grand slam. The White Sox over the Orioles 6-1. The news service of Back to School Illinois, providing school supplies for children in need. And you can help by making a donation at any neighborhood currency exchange or at b2si.org. Back to School Illinois, working to improve educational opportunities for Illinois children. b2si.org. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is fed up with the Trump bashers.
When I listen to people, colleagues of mine, he shouldn't tweet. You don't think he knows what he's doing? Well, but that's not protocol. He's not protocol. He's the proverbial bull in a china closet. It's who he is. My gosh, I'm so fed up with these haters. And the haters come in all political stripes.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Continental Audi of Naperville is out to sell 100 new Audis in June. So now is the time for you to take advantage of some great deals. Continental Audi of Naperville has incredible offers on new Audis. And Continental Audi delivers a different kind of buying experience. Straight talk and no hassle. And a huge selection of Audis to choose. You must visit ContinentalAudi.com or go to Continental Audi in Naperville now to check out these deals on an A3, A4, Q3, Q5, and even the all-new Q7. If you thought of driving an Audi, now is the time to take a test drive. Feel the difference in an Audi performance and experience the difference in an exceptional dealer. Don't miss this. Now is the time for you to buy or lease your new Audi from Continental Audi of Naperville. We're out to sell 100 new Audis in June. So hurry. ContinentalAudi.com or Continental Audi in Naperville on Aurora Avenue at Ogden Avenue. And experience the Continental Audi difference, where smiles are standard equipment. ContinentalAudi.com.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
Like on Chicago's north side, there's a two-car crash on Cornelia at Holstead. On the Edens Expressway, traffic flows without any significant delay. The Kennedy's still fine. The reversibles are open inbound. Inbound Eisenhower, a little congestion now around 25th. 30 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Inbound Stevenson. And a few slow pockets starting around Lamont Road. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. On Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 24 minutes. I-80 to merge. Tollways are looking good. There's a little road work on the southbound tri-state, running around Southwest Highway. The right lane's closed till 7 this morning. Traffic is a service of CiCi's. Now at CiCi's, party with the new stuffed crust trio. Bacon stuffed crust, a new grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Join the original with pepperoni. The stuffed crust parties on the unlimited buffet for just $5 and change. CiCi's. Prices may vary for a limited time only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Hot and humid today, clouds and sun mixed. There could be an afternoon thunderstorm. We'll top out at 91. Currently 71 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Breaking news as it happens. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. No, this does not hurt so good. No. We got a dog story here.
Oh my gosh, you get a dog, and now every day there's a dog story. No, I love it. I think your dog, Hayek, is softening your heart.
No, it's not. You can't soften something that's not there.
Well, I think he's making you more paternal.
I would do this story even if I didn't have a dog because it is police involved. It's a police-involved shooting of a dog. This is in Nevada, Nye County. Sheriff's Deputy John Toll responding to a distress alert, essentially a home alarm, after the security company reported panic alarms at the residence of one Gary Miller, who actually happens to be a world record holding power lifter.
Really?
And certified firefighter. So what actually happened is he had accidentally sat on his keys and tripped the panic alarm on his keychain, but he called the security company to wave them off. There's a record of him calling the security company. There's a record of the security company calling the sheriff's office to wave them off. That apparently didn't get down to the sheriff's deputy who responded. Okay. So the sheriff's deputy, this is a fenced-in home. He opens the fence. He goes to the door. He knocks on the door, and then this happens.
Oh, don't be mean. Don't be vicious. Oh, don't do it, doggy. Don't do it, doggy. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, no.
South 17, shots fired, shots fired. Hey, let me see your hands, man.
Did you shoot my dog?
He just attacked me.
You shot my dog?
He's attacking me. Step out, man. Let me see your hands. You got an alarm system in your house?
Yeah.
You pushed the panic alarm?
No, I sat on the keys. I
You
already
sat on the
called him
keys?
and told him.
Well, we came here for a panic alarm and your dog came at me.
Jesus Christ.
And if you watch the video, which I've watched, so he's at the door just to try and set the physical scene.
Yeah.
There's a sidewalk, and the dog. It looks like it's a pit bull breed.
Yeah, it is a pit bull mix.
He starts sauntering down the sidewalk, and the officer opens fire when the dog is about 20 feet from him.
It looks more like he's 40 feet from him.
Well, in this picture, he's 40 feet from him, but he doesn't open fire until he's a little bit closer, and then you heard the shots fired.
Oh, and he claims that the dog's name is Blue. You're my boy, Blue. Rounded the corner of the home and ran.
Too soon.
Sorry.
Too soon for.
Ran toward the deputy, but if you see in this video, the dog wasn't even in a threatening stance, or even his ears aren't even pinned back.
Toll was heard laughing on the full-length body cam video, which has not been released, at least not that I was able to find. Laughing about the shooting with another officer. Quote, "Maybe I'll get time off now. This is why I can't deal with dog lovers. It is what it is."
It's so weird for me to meet people who don't love animals.
Well, the dog owner, said that he's, the most pleasant dog in the neighborhood.
Was in their family for 6 years, and they rescued him as a puppy, kind of like how you rescued Hayek.
If the dog's wagging his tail, even if he's barking and growling, he's no threat. My dog was still wagging his tail when he was lying on the ground bleeding to death, said Miller. The sheriff's office said that Blue, don't do it.
You're my boy, Blue.
Charged the deputy attempted to attack him, was an aggressive animal, posed an evolving threat. You know what an evolving threat is? Not a threat.
Right.
Because it hasn't materialized into a threat. It's evolving.
Don't you love the rhetoric that's used to try and cover up for certain people who did wrong things?
The woman with the animal group, Nevada Voters for Animals said, Gina Gresson said, this was completely unjustified. He's running up to see what's going on. It's his property. That's his property. He's not even doing it in an aggressive running manner. He's jogging up to the front. I'm horrified by this video. I got to tell you, I'm not on the cop side on this one. I'm a proponent of police because I understand their important role in maintaining the peace in civil society, and I understand the difficulty of their job, and I understand that 90, in the overwhelming majority of the cases, with the overwhelming majority of the police officers, they do honorable and oftentimes heroic work, but there are times when they don't.
Yeah.
And this is one of those times. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And I got to tell you what the sheriff's deputy said that was caught on his body cam video. That could be used to, go to state of mind. He's rather indifferent about opening fire on the pooch. Now, if you're a good representative, counsel for the officer,
how are you going to defend that?
Well, here's how I would defend that. Well, he was trying to make it a laughing matter because he was so distraught over it. You know how some people get caught,
oh, yeah.
And they like try and laugh it off like it's no big deal because they feel awkward and uncomfortable. And so maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know. You could argue it both ways, I suppose. But if you watch this video,
he doesn't seem to care.
I think
one bit.
And whether he cares or not, I think it's difficult to justify opening fire given what you actually see on the video. And this is why the sheriff's office has to characterize it as it was an evolving threat. They can't definitively conclude or make the case from the video that the officer was threatened, had a reasonable fear for his safety, so they have to add the gerund evolving threat. That's a cover story.
Well, it's a fatal mistake that he can't take back and the family can't get their dog Blue back, their boy Blue. But what do you think should happen to the officer? Should he be suspended? Should he be fired? What should happen?
Well, I mean, if it was an unjustified use of force,
yeah,
then there should be disciplinary action, consistent with the collective bargaining agreement. So, yeah, some kind of suspension at minimum. I mean, it's
because a dog next time it could be a person or someone's child.
Well,
I'm
not sure someone's child is going to come charging at the officer and he's going to open fire.
You don't know.
Human beings and animals are different,
Right. That's why they're animals.
Yeah, right.
Animals.
But here's the thing. Especially for police officers and departments that have canine units. I mean, they treat the canine officer as an officer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you would think there would be some concern about the treatment of animals, and I suspect there is generally. I mean, where I got my dog, a Chicago police lieutenant, John Garrido, and his wife opened up a shelter on the Northwest Side. They're, massive, huge dog lovers, and as most people are. I mean, cops are just regular people, too.
And what kind of dog, again, is Hayek?
A Rubian Canuku, of course.
So do they...
He's a cosmonaut. Remember, the same
that's right.
same dog. That's the same breed of dog that was in Sputnik.
Right.
So my dog probably will, at some point, go into space. I don't know when.
Do you want to hear a good dog story that involves police officers? Or do you want to take the call first?
Let's go to Tony on the south side. I mean, he is the guy who gave us Tangerine Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, listen, this guy should just stop being a cop. If you're afraid of a dog, I don't care if it's a pit bull, a German shepherd, where you pull a gun and shoot it, even if it's gnawing on your arm, what kind of cop is that? There's no bravery there at all. I mean, that's kind of milquetoast. Get out the force, because what's going to happen when he's confronted with a real danger is to shoot up the whole neighborhood. I mean, that's ridiculous. Shame on that guy.
Thanks for the call, Tony. And I got to say, and by the way, the owner handled it pretty well considering how
he didn't
jarring
rip his
the
eyes
incident was. I mean, I would have lost my business, not assaulted the officer or anything, but I would have been like, he was relatively calm given what happened. And he later sat down for an interview with a local television station. But here's the thing, to Tony's point, he's 20 feet away. It's not clear that he's charging him. And don't you want to exercise a little bit of restraint to see if the dog is just coming up? He stops short of you.
Right.
I mean, you have more time to react if you really feel you're threatened which is why, again, the sheriff's department called it an evolving threat.
Well, in Chicago, 2 Chicago police officers yesterday morning, Dan, saved a pit bull who fell into Lake Michigan. There was a 4-car accident on northbound Lakeshore Drive, near where you live, actually, in Streeterville. And this pit bull mix ran out from one of the cars. I don't know which one. And he went to get some water on the edge of Lake Michigan right there, and he fell in. And police officer Juan Ferris ran over, didn't even think twice, got on his belly and pulled the dog out of the water.
Just kept running back and forth. He was pretty excited and kept trying to get water out of the lake and fell in the lake. I heard the splash, and once I heard it, I turned over. I saw him swimming, just went over there and grabbed him.
And if you see this video, it's really, it's Chopper 7 HD caught it, and it was really good. They saved the dog's life.
So that's a great cop dog story.
Yep. And then they put a leash around its neck, and now they're looking for the owner this morning. It's a cute dog.
Don and Moni, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you're a pinhead. You don't know. You've never been attacked by a dog. You don't give a dog an opportunity to get up on you and bite the Jesus out of you.
Uh-huh.
You know, Pit Bull's one of the 10 most aggressive dogs there are.
Uh-huh.
It's dark, nighttime.
It's not dark. It wasn't nighttime, but okay.
Well, okay, but it's a dog. It's loose.
Okay.
In the yard.
On his property. Okay.
So I'd like to see you go. You go in there without a gun with that same dog, okay? And
Well. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Don, you should watch the video.
I'm a pinhead. I know.
You've always been a pinhead.
I'm still a pinhead. I'm always a pinhead. What else do you have to say, Don? Is that it? Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah. See, I guess my point is, if I was armed in that situation, then I would exercise more restraint before I use deadly force. I guess that's this pinhead's point, Don, from Moni, who just assumes facts, not in evidence, and contrary to the evidence to make his case.
Actually, it was at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, and
sunny day.
As Mr. Miller pointed out too, I mean, he could have stayed at the fence and waited for Mr. Miller to come out, right? I mean, this is on his property. Candace and DuPage, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer with Amy and Pinhead.
Good morning. This really upsets me because I have dogs, and now you know, Dan. The whole purpose of the dog is to protect its roam. And if it's in somebody's yard, I don't understand these cops. Like, where are the men? Okay, you let the dog smell you first. It has to get in your realm and smell you. It's not that hard. I mean, there's way too many cops killing dogs like right away, and sheriffs. I've been seeing this online, and I don't understand why you just don't let them. They need to have a class on it, because the dog's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It does not mean it's going to bite you or attack you, but it is going to give you a warning. That's just what they do.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for the call, Candace. By the way, police have been to Mr. Miller's place before without incident with the dog. I suppose the postman drops off the mail without incidents with the dog. So, yeah, if you could continue to kind of pull back and look at other circumstantial, more circumstantial context to this, I think it gets worse for the officer in this case.
Who saw Old Yeller? Who cried when Old Yeller got shot at the end? Nobody cried when Old Yeller got shot, I'm sure. I cried my eyes out.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard about the Coin Show. Now you need to make plans to go. Find out what collectors and investors have known for years. It's fun, full of history, and it can be a great investment. Attend the Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectibles Show. It's one of the largest in the nation, and it's free. Get to the Tinley Park Convention Center this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, June 15th through the 17th. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best coin dealers from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars, U.S. and world paper money, gold gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. This is a show for the whole family, collectors, investors, or if you just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles. This show is a can't miss. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectibles Show. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, June 15th through the 17th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Admission and parking is free with your photo ID. Get more information at chicagocoinshow.com. That's chicagocoinshow.com. Don't you dare miss it.
Dollar Shave Club sends high-quality razors right to your door every month for great low prices. So give Dad a gift that keeps on giving and enroll him at dollarshaveclub.com. Want to try these great razors for yourself? Well, download or visit the AM560 mobile app now and enter to win a 4-blade razor with shave butter and post-shave cream for effortless, delightful shaving.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
When you need help caring for your aging parents or loved one, call Right at Home in-home care and assistance. Right at Home provides trained, insured, and bonded caregivers to help your senior maintain independence. We can provide service for as little as 3 hours per week to 24 hours a day. No matter where home is, from a house to an assisted living facility, we tailor our personal in-home care to just what your loved one needs. Companionship for an afternoon, a helping hand with laundry or groceries and cooking, assistance with bathing and dressing, or monitoring of medications, a ride to appointments, or just the joy of getting out. Even in the little things like listening to family stories, we make sure your loved one's care is right at home. Our professional staff is here to answer your questions and ensure the well-being and safety of your senior and provide you peace of mind.
Right at Home has 15 local offices serving Chicagoland. Call 877-ELDER-99. That's 877-353-3799. Your loved one will be cared for by the right care. Right at Home. Call 877-353-3799.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
72 degrees at 5:57. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound traffic is stop and go from Burr to Klein Avenue, where the jam cam shows a stall partially blocking the express lane right in the work zone. The Edens is fine. Kennedy inbound, little heavy out of the River Road toll. 22 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Inbound Eisenhower, 35 minutes. Thorndale to the post office downtown. Outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, 52 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Got a crash just reported before Ashland. The Ryan from 95th to downtown is 23 minutes. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the rugged Bluetooth speaker with 24-hour battery life is just $29.99. That's right, now you can have the freedom to play music wherever you please for just $29.99 while supplies last. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And the latest from our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, hot and humid with clouds and sun. A thunderstorm for the afternoon, high 92. Rather cloudy, warm, and humid tonight with a couple of thunderstorms around, mainly early where they could be strong, bringing flash flooding, low 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
The news a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 5:59 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Here are the stories we're following at this hour. 2 men are hospitalized after they stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach in Chicago. Mayor Emanuel is not responding to increased pressure to push for a federal judge to oversee Chicago police reforms. Property taxes going up this year in Chicago. The Cook County Clerk's Office announcing yesterday that the average property tax bill will rise by 10%. Federal judge weighing a lawsuit seeks to block parts of a new Indiana abortion law. Says she'll issue a ruling before the law takes effect July 1st. Anthony Rizzo, a leadoff home run in a Cubs win over the Mets. A Matt Davidson grand slam powered the White Sox to a win over the Orioles. More Dan and Amy coming up after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
They couldn't get to everyone. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It was horrific. You could see like little children knocking on the windows, screaming, help, help, get us out, get us out.
They were trapped in an inferno, a 24-story apartment building that went up in flames overnight in London while people slept. Fox's Simon Owen is live near the blackened tower.
Dave, black smoke rising into the sky here. You can see it from miles away. The fire service now using a hose operated from a crane as they continue to put out flames. This several hours after the fire broke out. The block is 24 stories tall. London police saying 6 people were killed, but that number is expected to rise. More than 50 others were taken to the hospital. Dave?
Simon, days after 2 attorneys general sued President Trump, congressional Democrats are taking him to court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, nearly 200 Democrats are suing the president, claiming his ongoing business interests violate a constitutional clause against accepting gifts and payments from foreign leaders. The legal complaint argues a foreign emoluments clause requires the president to get congressional permission before receiving such gifts and payments. The lawsuit is similar to one filed this week by attorneys general in Maryland and D.C. The White House has said the president's business interests do not violate the Constitution and characterized the first lawsuit as partisan politics. Dave?
Rachel, Attorney General Sessions told a Senate hearing it's a detestable lie, assertions he might have helped Russia interfere with the presidential campaign.
I did not recuse myself from defending my honor against scurrilous and false allegations.
And he upset Democrats like Angus King, an independent, refusing to discuss private conversations he had with the president.
Has the president invoked executive privilege in the case of your testimony?
Sessions said no, but
I am protecting the right of the president to exert it. I'll assert it if he chooses.
Otto Warmbier is now in a Cincinnati hospital. The college student in North Korea detained and in prison was flown back to America last night in a coma. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Anarchists taking to the streets. Hollywood more vocal than ever. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer making baseless accusations on a daily basis.
And again, the facts are what are important.
And the press has lost all objectivity, responsibility, and quite possibly their minds. One thing is for certain. We must be doing something right. Keep calm and listen. AM 560, The Answer.
All Nissans are created equal. It's Nissan of St. Charles that makes the difference. At Nissan of St. Charles, we go the extra mile to make sure your happiness lasts as long as you own your vehicle. Every new Nissan or used vehicle we sell comes with our exclusive Lifetime Advantage warranty. So when you get your new Nissan at Nissan of St. Charles, you'll drive with peace of mind knowing it's backed by our exclusive warranty that lasts the lifetime of your vehicle. Be sure to ask about our Lifetime Tire program. And this month only, Nissan of St. Charles is giving away a brand new Nissan Sentra. That's a new 2017 Nissan Sentra. Just visit Nissan of St. Charles by June 24th and register for our giveaway. Or visit nissanofstcharles.com for complete details. Nissan of St. Charles, located on North Avenue in the heart of St. Charles. Or visit us online at nissanofstcharles.com. Nissan of St. Charles. Experience the difference.
Here's a celebration not to miss. I encourage you to join my friend Matt Podgorski and the Northwest Side GOP Club as they celebrate President Trump's 71st birthday, which is also Flag Day, and Make America Great Again night on Wednesday, June 14th. If you're a member, it's free. Non-members pay only $10, and snowflakes pay $20. There will be appetizers and a cash bar. The party starts at 5, so stop by after work. There will be a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, giveaways, and Todd and the 10 Pins will perform. With all that's going on in Chicago, the Northwest Side GOP Club's mission is to inspire thought and action to set things right in Chicago, politically, fiscally, socially, and culturally. President Trump's birthday is Wednesday, June 14th, and Chicago is celebrating at Revel Bar at 6169 Northwest Highway. For more information, visit northwestsidegop.com. That's nwsgop.com. And I encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Northwest Side GOP Club as well. It's only $35 a year. For more information, visit nwsgop.com and like NWSGOP on Facebook.
Kyle is a dog trainer.
Okay, sit. Good boy.
In his personal time, Kyle's a personal trainer.
1, 2, good.
Kyle knows how to get results, but when it comes to mortgages, he's less confident.
Guilty as charged.
Fortunately, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so he can understand the details and know he's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So one of the more entertaining exchanges yesterday during the Senate Intel Committee hearing featuring Jeff Sessions was Senator Tom Cotton after half a dozen Democrats had completed their questioning of Sessions. Cotton picked up on something and wanted to relay his observations to Jeff Sessions.
I am on this side of the dais. So a very simple question that should be asked is, did Donald Trump or any of his associates in the campaign collude with Russia in hacking those emails and releasing them to the public? That's where we started 6 months ago. We have now heard from 6 of the 8 Democrats in this committee, and to my knowledge, I don't think a single one of them asked that question. They've gone down lots of other rabbit trails, but not that question. Maybe that is because Jim Comey said last week, as he said to Donald Trump, that on 3 times he assured him he was not under investigation. Maybe it's because multiple Democrats on this committee have stated they have seen no evidence thus far after 6 months of our investigation and 11 months of an FBI investigation of any such collusion. I would just suggest, what do we think happened at the Mayflower? Mr. Sessions, are you familiar with what spies called tradecraft?
A little bit.
That involves things like covert communications and dead drops and brush passes, right?
That is part of it.
Do you like spy fiction? John le Carré, Daniel Silva, Jason Matthews?
Yeah, Alan First, David Ignatius. Just finished Ignatius's book.
Do you like Jason Bourne or James Bond movies?
No. Yes. I do.
Have you ever, in any of these fantastical situations, heard of a plot line so ridiculous that a sitting United States senator and an ambassador of a foreign government colluded at an open setting with hundreds of other people to pull off the greatest caper in the history of espionage?
Thank you for saying that, Senator Cotton. It's just like through the looking glass. I mean, what is this?
Exactly. What is this? We are Alice in Wonderland territory, and Tom Cotton summed it up nicely, except Jean Le Carré. You know, that Arkansas dialect. He didn't quite nail that. But
Southern sweet.
Yeah. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by former DOJ lawyer and FEC commissioner. He is now a Heritage Foundation senior legal fellow. He's Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, it's good to talk to you.
So your reaction to Jeff Sessions' testimony yesterday, and particularly Tom Cotton's observations about the questions from Democrats?
It was an enormous waste of time. I mean, the Democrats, and Tom Cotton was right, but the Democrats just kept asking him questions, often insulting questions, particularly from Ron Wyden and Kamala Harris of California. And the only thing that came out of this hearing is what we've known so far now all along, which is there is simply no evidence of any kind to support this myth that's been pushed now for months that there was some kind of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government, particularly Russian intelligence operatives, to somehow interfere with the election. I mean, there's just nothing to it. It really is an Alice in Wonderland story.
And, you know, the left this morning is making a big deal that Sessions refused to discuss conversations with President Trump, which is a real stretch.
Well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, everyone knows, well, except apparently Kamala Harris, who used to be the Attorney General of California, and you would think might know the law, that presidents have privileged conversations with their aides and their cabinet officials in the White House. It has been that way since George Washington. And the idea that Sessions would come in and basically break that privilege and talk about confidential communications, I mean, it's just absurd.
Well, and F.H. Buckley, who's a law professor at George Mason University Law School, I guess it's Scalia Law School now, he wrote a piece for Fox, The Vindication of an Honest Man, regarding Sessions' testimony. And he makes the point that, yes, the president is the only one who can invoke the privilege, but if he disclosed the nature of the conversation before the committee, Sessions, then he would deprive the president of that option, his privilege, and Sessions made a perfectly clear statement of principle on that matter.
Yeah, he certainly did. Look, the way anybody should think about this is, think about it like the attorney-client relationship. It's only the client that has the ability to tell his lawyer, yeah, you can tell the world about what we talked about. The lawyer can't do that. And the push by the senators yesterday on this issue, again, you and I, look, we all know they certainly would not have questioned any Obama administration official about their refusal to disclose conversations with the president in the White House. They would have said, well, of course, that's the way it should be.
Well, do you think it was a good or a wise decision not to meet privately with the Senate Intel Committee after the public hearing?
Yes. I think the whole point of this, given the fact that Senator Sessions. It used to be Senator Sessions. Look, Attorney General Sessions knew nothing about the Russia investigation, which is supposedly what this Intelligence Committee is looking into, because why? Well, he recused himself from it as soon as he became Attorney General. The reason he wanted a public hearing was so he could do exactly what he did yesterday, which was basically deny that there was anything to all these absurd rumors that are being pushed by the media.
Right, and so you have him issuing that categorical explanation with respect to his recusal, that he's had no material participation, hasn't seen any documents, hasn't talked to anybody. And then, over at a subcommittee not far away, you had his Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, saying the same thing, that he doesn't know what we're investigating. I'm not going to talk about publicly what we are investigating, but he doesn't know where we're at, what we're investigating, who we're talking to. He doesn't know anything. So the recusal's a real recusal, according to Rod Rosenstein, who, by the way, in case people don't remember, got a nice endorsement by Sally Yates on her way out the door, where she said, she went so far as to say, because Rod Rosenstein is in charge of the Russian collusion investigation, I don't even think we need a special counsel. And she's hardly a flack for the Trump administration. So, everywhere the Democrats turn, because they have no evidence, they're made to look foolish if Republicans, I think, would be a little bit more vociferous like Tom Cotton was.
Oh, look, I agree with that. And something else that popped out of yesterday's hearing is catching James Comey in another lie. Mm-hmm. Because remember, one of the things that Comey said was, well, I wasn't informed about the details of the recusal or why it occurred or anything like that. And no, well, it turns out that the Office of the Attorney General sent Comey specifically an email on March 2nd telling him that the Attorney General, in fact, had recused himself after consulting with ethics officials there, and that the FBI director was instructed not to in any way give the Attorney General any information or brief him on the details of the investigation. So Comey basically, I think, presented false testimony last week.
Yeah, and he also, too, he talked about the time that he asked Sessions for help. I don't want to be left alone with the president. And AG Sessions kind of destroyed that theory as well.
Yeah, he did. I got to tell you, more and more it looks like James Comey was, what he was trying to do last week, I think, was rehabilitate his shattered reputation, which, as you know, last year Democrats were asking for his resignation because of the way he had mishandled the Clinton administration, the Clinton email scandal.
It was a matter.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, matter.
Please, Hans.
And Comey certainly was not successful in doing that. I guess that might make the value of the memoirs he's trying to sell down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he held something back in his Hello Kitty diary that will be in that 7-figure book deal he gets. But on the underlying topic, which is actually a serious topic, the integrity of our elections, I know you, especially being a former FEC commissioner, done a lot of work in this space, and you've done a lot of work with the Heritage Foundation in this space as well. So a couple of things that happened that completely go unreported, virtually unreported, while they're chasing this spy novel narrative that the New York Times is promulgating with the help of congressional Democrats. This week, a James Madison University student is pleading guilty to voter fraud in Virginia. And then this story out of Bloomberg yesterday, that the attempts, at least, for Russian cyber hackers to pierce electoral systems around the country was wider. It was wider than previously believed, talking about as many as 39 states where they tried to incur into voter databases and software systems that manage election proceedings, including in Illinois, where we are. Investigators found evidence that cyber intruders tried to delete or alter voter data. And this is a particular concern for us in Illinois because we want to make sure that the dead are still able to vote.
Yeah, but look, we've known all along that the Russians were trying to do that, and that's been confirmed. But it's important to realize two things. One, Comey was directly asked about this in his hearing, and he said there was no evidence that there was any successful attempt by the Russians or anyone else to get into the voting ballot counting process. And that echoes what Jay Johnson, the former Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security under Barack Obama, said only 1 week after the election. Of course,
And Loretta Lynch said the same.
yes, no, that's right. Of course, part of this points out that danger of having online voter registration, which is something that Illinois has put in. If you put that online, then you are giving hackers anywhere the ability to try to hack into the system.
How do you think President Trump should handle this now that Comey has testified? We got his reaction to that. Jeff Sessions testified. He said last night that he did a good job, but how should he move forward?
I think Trump needs to just, frankly, ignore this and concentrate on the substantive things he's got to do. That is repealing Obamacare, getting a tax reduction plan in place, getting a budget. I mean, I think he needs to work on those things that he was elected for by the American people and just drop this and not worry about it.
All right. He is former Department of Justice attorney and FEC commissioner. Currently, he's the senior legal fellow for the Heritage Foundation, of course. He's Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Here you go. Your phone calls on AG Sessions and the hearing yesterday. Did it persuade you one way or the other? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. And the weather today, wow, look at this. Again, another day of heat and humidity. We'll have some sun and hopefully an afternoon thunderstorm, a high of 91 degrees. Tonight, strong thunderstorms can bring some flash flooding and damaging winds. And then for Thursday, for our golf tournament, there's going to be a thunderstorm in spots early in the morning, otherwise cloudy and sunny, a high of 93. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. To the big boss, here he is, Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Well, the traffic is detestable on the inbound Stevenson this morning. It's slow from Lamont Road to 83 and then Harlem most of the way to Lakeshore Drive. 56 minutes already, 3:55 to the drive. 43 minutes from the Tri-State outbound, just a 1 minute delay from Grange Road to 294. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound fine at 19. A little heavy on the eastbound spur past Waukegan Road. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Eisenhower is now 54 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, at 40 minutes from Manheim, outbound 35 to Thorndale. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the Marriage Vision 422. The exit to westbound 130th is blocked with a rollover semi. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, a digital platform that complements what we do on this show each morning. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series, this week featuring Dan McConkey, freshman state senator from Hawthorne Woods, who's got a plan to constitutionally balance Illinois' state budget without a tax increase. Chicago Democrats not interested, to no one's surprise. So in addition to long-form interviews, podcasts for Illinois Rising program, which focuses on state of Illinois politics and policy, can be heard on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. 60-second commentaries by yours truly this week on Jim Comey. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments. A new series we've rolled out called Heart of the Matter, which is women.
Ladies only, please.
Ladies only. It is a ladies only, colleague to colleague, discussing salient public policy issues. Dollars and Cents, how local and state officials are spending your tax dollars, as well as 2-minute warnings about bad actors at said local and state offices. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
There's so much to look forward to as the weather gets warmer. Outdoor sports and activities, backyard parties, and graduations. For your next celebration, party, or get-together, leave the eats to Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli. Whether it's around your table or theirs, Augie's is the place where sports teams, families, and friends celebrate with great food at a great price for almost 40 years. Try their signature subs, freshly made and fully loaded with the highest quality meats and cheese. Or choose from their fresh, never-frozen half-pound Angus beef burgers, authentic homemade Italian beef sandwiches, hand-rolled meatballs, pizza, and fresh salads. Dine in, surrounded by authentic rock and roll memorabilia, or phone ahead for orders to go. Whatever works for your team, Augie's offers fast, fresh, affordable food. Designed to make your special time with friends and family simple and easy. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli in Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Don't forget to check out their extensive catering menu at augustinos.com. This season, let the good times happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
So, a number of great moments in the Jeff Sessions testimony yesterday. His opening statement was very good.
I thought he was going to cry, didn't you? He got a little emotional.
He's emotional, as he said.
Well, his character was under attack.
Right, and he didn't recuse himself from defending his name and his honor and his integrity and his reputation, and that's all legitimate. His opening statement, the exchange with Tom Cotton, was fun. And then, of course, the testy exchanges with both Ron Wyden and Kamala Harris.
Oh, she's insufferable.
Well,
I mean, how could she be the former head attorney for the entire state of California and be that, like, nim-witted when she's during the questioning phase?
Well, she just won't let anybody answer a question. We talked about her last week when it was Homeland Security Secretary General Kelly before the Senate Intel Committee testifying. She wouldn't let him answer a question.
She did it to Comey, too. That's the time when I almost turned off the radio because he kept trying to answer, and he said, if you'll let me speak. I mean, she even did it to Comey.
And
she can't stop.
Here's the exchange with Jeff Sessions where, I mean, it's a rather unusual occurrence where the committee chairman, Richard Burr, a Republican from North Carolina, had to intervene to tell her to,
pipe it down, Tootsie.
If you're going to ask a question, maybe you should allow somebody to answer it.
Before you came before this committee, knowing we would ask you questions about it?
Well, we talked about it. The policy is
Did you ask that it would be shown to you?
The policy is based on the principle that the president...
Sir, I'm not asking about the principle. I'm asking when you would be asked these questions and you would rely on that policy. Did you not ask your staff to show you the policy that would be the basis for you refusing to answer the majority of questions that have been asked?
Should be allowed to answer the question.
Senators will allow the chair to control the hearing. Harris, let him answer.
Please do. Thank you.
We talked about it, and we talked about the real principle that's at stake. It's one that I have some appreciation for, as having spent 15 years in the Department of Justice, 12 as United States Attorney, and that principle is that the Constitution provides the head of the executive branch certain privileges, and that members, one of them is confidentiality of communications, and it is improper for agents of any department any departments in the executive branch to waive that privilege without a clear approval of the president.
I have asked.
And that's the situation
Mr.
we're in.
For a yes or no, did you ask?
So the answer is yes. I consulted.
Did you ask your staff to see the policy?
Expired.
Apparently
Senator
not.
Cornyn.
Of course, as you gathered, when Jeff Sessions was actually allowed to speak for 15 seconds uninterrupted, is the issue of executive privilege with respect to him disclosing conversations he had with the president, as we were just talking about with Hans von Spakovsky. And the idea is if he chose to disclose those conversations, he would be obviating the privilege the president enjoys and has the right to assert with respect to private conversations with staff, so he's not going to do that. It's not that complicated.
But she knows that. She's just grandstanding and trying to make a name for herself.
Yeah,
trying
I think
to get
that's
her.
right.
You know what it is? I
think that's right.
It was a photo shoot for her campaign commercial. when she's up for re-election again, or when she aspires to go for higher office.
Well, and the question becomes, though, after Sessions' performance yesterday, which I thought was particularly strong, and I'm not surprised by that because by the people who actually know him, almost to a person, you hear, and even people who disagree with him, except in the context of a confirmation hearing when they're grandstanding, as you're saying, playing politics, trying to advance themselves at his expense. But in the ordinary course of the last 20 years in the Senate, and those who came up with him at the Department of Justice, as we've spoken to on this show, like Fred Foreman, who's a former U.S. attorney for the Northern District here in Chicago, who knows him a little bit. He's a person of integrity, straight as shooter as you're going to get in Washington, and he's a person of integrity. And so I wasn't surprised by the quality of his performance, especially given those that were coming at him. I figured that he would outduel them. But the question is, do you do what Hans suggested, which is just ignore this from now on if you're President Trump? Or do you do what we suggested, or we talked about yesterday a bit, which is build upon what Sessions did? And people want to hear from the president. He is the one who the cloud is over, effectively. A national address that lays it all out once and for all, and I do mean for all, and tells the American people everything that he knows and what his perspective is on what he knows and doesn't know. And essentially, that's his final statement on the matter. And it'll turn out however it turns out with Mueller's investigation. And then I'm getting back to all of these other matters that are languishing because we've been focused on this fairy tale or this spy novel that the Democrats are trying to tell.
So him speaking out after the Comey hearing, you don't think that was enough? That he, now that after Sessions' Senate Intel hearing, he needs to come out again?
No.
It didn't go so well. I mean, because then it evolved into, well, I might have tapes. I don't know. I mean, the cat and mouse game with the media and the tease.
I think that's unproductive. Answering a question during a press avail with the Romanian president is not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Tweeting is not what I'm talking about. I want a primetime presidential address to the nation on the topic to reassure, to reassert his confidence, to inspire more Americans to have confidence in him, and to essentially, answer without being queried some of the allegations surrounding him, even though he has a lot of evidence to point to. That's why you should use it. Point to it. Jim Comey, no fan of mine. I'm not a particular fan of his. 3 times, I'm not a target of the investigation. How many times does he have to say it? And on and on and on. All of the evidence that is on the president's side should be utilized to advance the president's credibility for the purpose of advancing his domestic policy agenda. And I don't think there's any way to do that unless you kind of bring everything to the focal point of a national address featuring President Trump. I just don't see it otherwise. Otherwise, this is going to continue to be the chit of this hearing and that hearing, this one-off interview and this and another one-off assertion, and it's just going to continue to linger. And there's an opportunity cost to be paid with divided attention, where you've got to do the calm work on this while you're trying to move tax reform, for example.
Well, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
I'm going to talk about your intern, Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, and how she's been, she's standing by her interview and she's been yanked from something else. And also, happy birthday, President Trump. Dan's going to sing a song. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
72 degrees, some clouds this morning. We're in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Over a half dozen are dead in a massive fire that devastates a London public housing high-rise.
I heard a lot of screams and I could see, after I got outside, I was looking up and I could see people banging on the windows and there was fire all around them. It was horrendous.
Officials in the British capital say they know of 6 killed so far. That number is expected to climb. 64 have been hospitalized because of the fire. 20 are in critical condition, and officials fear that many victims have been unaccounted for. Just moments ago, Georgia Governor Nathan Deal said the state is using all necessary means to track down the inmates who shot and killed 2 correctional officers yesterday. Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills says they also busted into a home yesterday and dumped their prison clothes.
We know they took some food. We assume they took some clothing. The house was thoroughly ransacked.
Officers Christopher Monica and Curtis Ballou were shot and killed when inmates ambushed them as they were taking a bus for a prison transfer. Rolling Stone is settling a lawsuit over $1.5 million because of a story it retracted. You recall a fraternity at the University of Virginia sued the magazine for defamation over a discredited story claiming a young woman was gang raped at a frat house. Spokesman for the fraternity said the settlement closes the book on what has been a horribly trying ordeal. Jury deliberations in Bill Cosby's sexual assault trial continue for a third day today. Jurors weighing whether the 79-year-old comedian is guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting a former Temple University employee. 2 men are hospitalized after they stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach. Police tell us this morning one victim remains in critical condition. And a suburban Chicago singer with hundreds of thousands of teenage followers online is facing child pornography charges for allegedly instructing young fans to send him sexually explicit videos. 24-year-old Austin Jones of Bloomingdale appeared in a Chicago federal courtroom on Tuesday. Anthony Rizzo, a leadoff home run. Cubs beat the Mets 14-3. Matt Davidson's grand slam powered the White Sox to a 6-1 win over the Orioles. Mandatory minicamp for the Bears is underway. The news a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-3471. That's 1-800-500-3471. 1-800-500-3471.
6:36. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound is jammed. I-65 to Klein Avenue after an earlier stall. Edens is 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20. Kennedy 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 26. The Eisenhower now 54 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 35. The Stevenson is brutal. Looking at an hour and a half from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's 50 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes. I-80 converts Bishop Ford, 30. The ramp to westbound 130th is blocked with a crash. Traffic service, Dove Men Plus Care. Hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it. Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Sounds good, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Hot and humid, times of clouds and sun with the chance of an afternoon thunderstorm today, high 91. Currently 71 at O'Hare, 69 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Larry Elder, tonight at 7, only on AM 560, The Answer.
What have I done to deserve this? What have I done to deserve it?
Since you went away. That's Pet Shop Boys. Dusty Springfield, the great Dusty Springfield.
Kick it, Mike Scott on the drums.
All right. Are you back?
I'm sorry. Wait, have I shown up for work yet?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yes, I'm here.
You're back from the 80s, I meant.
Honey, I never left the 80s.
Your intern, Megan Kelly.
Job shadower, yes.
Defending her decision to interview Alex Jones, which will be this Sunday.
You know what? I'm actually going to watch it now. I've changed my opinion about it.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's, and by the way, we talked about this yesterday. I got a number of emails from Alex Jones supporters, may be too strong a word, but certainly. I
got a bunch of them too.
Certainly defenders.
Didn't appreciate our tone. That was one that I received.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that he's not a conspiracy theorist all the time, that he has a wonderful relationship with President Trump. Like, just 90% of the time he is, not 100% of the time.
Say it's 5% of the time. Here's my point. Number one, you lose your standing. You'd be taken seriously when you say that Sandy Hook didn't happen and that the children who were murdered were actors. Period. I just want to let that lie for a second before we pick that up. Period. Secondly, he's an admitted libelist. He apologized to the founder of the Kobani Yogurt Company for
that's right.
a fraudulent story about about Kobani hiring migrants, refugees that were raping people in some Idaho facility. Kobani sued him for libel. He conceded the story was fraudulent. He apologized. He's a admitted libelist.
Here's another email. Don't be fake news, you two. Jones is not perfect, but he has exposed a lot of dirty things that the Republicans and Dems would love to cover up.
See, I understand the idea that we need to get out of this Republican-Democrat binary, and that's what a lot of the kind of Alex Jones defenders are saying. But you can do that with integrity. You can do that by not making up stories. You can do that by not being a black helicopter crank. And that's what Alex Jones is. And I don't care he's not a conspiracy theorist all the time. What kind of defense is that exactly? Is it 5% of the time? Is it 10? I don't care. It's what he is promoting through conspiracy theories and manufactured stories that he subsequently faces litigation over and loses and concedes the defeat and concedes the untruth of what he promoted. And again, I go back to, and there's other things he's apologized for, Pizzagate and so forth, the things that he's gotten.
Anton Scalia saying that he was murdered.
I mean, right. It's just.
He'd apologize for that.
It's on and on. Fact-free stories.
Right, but that's why I think it's great that Megyn Kelly's going to hold his feet to the fire and rip him into what
Yeah, is
this
that what
Sunday
she's doing?
night.
That's not what she. Well, that's what she's trying to do. 'Cause she's
Well, we'll see. 'Cause
She's
we
trying to
haven't
make a name for herself.
No, she got an interview with him, and I want to hear it. But the problem is, I don't like the timing of it because it is Father's Day, and that's Father's Day for parents is probably more important than Christmas or any other holiday because it's a time when your kids, you spend time with your children, and they write you cards and do things for you that are unforgettable. And it's a sacred time.
Here's Megyn Kelly in her own words defending the interview. She posted a statement on Twitter yesterday. I understand and respect the decision of the event organizers. She's talking about the Sandy Hook event that she was going to MC, from which she has been disinvited.
Yeah, it's called Sandy Hook Promise. She was supposed to MC it tonight, but they've decided that she's not going to be the MC.
Right, because she's, in their opinion, the opinion of the Sandy Hook families, she is elevating and amplifying the ravings of Alex Jones, and they don't appreciate it. She goes on, does Kelly, I find Alex Jones' suggestion that Sandy Hook was a hoax as personally revolting as every other rational person does. It left me and many other Americans asking the very question that prompted this interview. How does Jones, who traffics in these outrageous conspiracy theories, have the respect of the President of the United States and a growing audience of millions? President Trump, by praising and citing him, appearing on his show, and giving him White House press credentials, has helped elevate Jones to the alarm of many. Our goal in sitting down with him was to shine a light, as journalists are supposed to do, on this influential figure, and yes, to discuss the considerable falsehoods he has promoted with near impunity. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-368, turnkey.pro text line. You compelled by Megyn Kelly's statement? I think it's judicious use of her platform to feature Alex Jones. Think that she makes a persuasive argument.
I think she persuaded me with this statement into watching what's going to be happening on Sunday, because I've been reviewing Alex Jones's hoaxes and conspiracy theories, yesterday because we started talking about it. And this guy's a nut job, but I want to know what makes him tick. Is it the money that motivates him? Does he believe in any of this? I mean, I think that she's going to tear him apart and reveal the fraud that he is. I mean, really, that's what she's going to do. And she got the interview, and he's, he sat down to do it. He agreed to do it. And of course, he wants it pulled because he said he's being taken out of context.
Yeah. What she's really going to do is Putin him. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. Well, what do you mean by Putin him?
Why did you say no?
Because I don't think that she's going to be.
Why did you say no?
Because she's a respected journalist, and this guy pretends to be a journalist, and he's not. So she's going to rip him apart.
Excuse me, Mr. Sessions, you're not answering the question. Why did you say no when I said she's going to Putin him? What did you think I meant by Putining him?
By throwing softball questions at him.
Because that's what she did, didn't she?
With Putin, yeah. I never defended her interview with Putin.
Right. She got the get, and then she was used by Putin to propagandize.
Right.
And that's
why he gave her the interview. That's why he gave Oliver Stone an interview.
And no matter what happens here, no matter what she does, no matter how bad Alex Jones looks in the mind of the rational person, it's going to advance the cause of Alex Jones. And here's the other thing it's going to do.
Yeah, because there's crazy people out there. And crazies like crazies.
Here's the other thing it's going to do. It's going to be used as a way to caricature the president. And more importantly, it's going to be used as a way to caricature conservatives and conservative talk radio. Because that's what it's already used to do. I mentioned this yesterday when we talked about it. The character on this season of Homeland is an Alex Jones knockoff.
Oh, yeah.
And so you think culture matters? You think the caricaturing of Republicans and conservatives in the culture matters? I do. And by the way, the evidence suggests overwhelmingly that it does. So, it's one thing to find, Alex Jones some kind of guilty pleasure because he goes after CNN or whatever. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to him because he's proven that there's no reason to pay any attention to him. And then you maybe need to pull back just a little bit to try and do what Alex Jones doesn't do, connect dots that are actually there in terms of impact, and understand, how Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones are engaged in a temporary symbiotic relationship by agreeing to have Alex Jones on the Kelly side and agreeing to appear on the Jones side.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Dan, are you going to watch it?
No.
Interview?
Nope.
Even as a homework assignment
So
for
you-
Monday? I'll watch it.
You watch it,
And I'll
talk about it, and then I'll rinse and repeat everything I've said about both Alex Jones and Megyn Kelly because I can't imagine. I will always be open to being persuaded. I can't imagine a coming to pass that would occur in this interview from either one of them that would change my opinion. It's possible, but I doubt it, particularly with what's been telegraphed already and leaked already about the teased, not leaked. I'm using that word too much now. Teased already. Steve in Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, Megyn Kelly's best friend is a mirror, of course.
Oh, stop it.
And like so many in the media, save you two, of course, their only real interest is in the size of her bank account. I hope her career is totally destroyed. Thanks much. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, what hot blonde wronged you in your life? I mean, really, you guys he sounds like a chauvinistic pig.
Why? Because
so she her favorite friend is the mirror. She's worked hard to get where she is. She was an attorney for 8 years, and she realized later in her life that she wanted to be a news reporter, so she took steps to become a news reporter.
Are you gonna
and she succeeded.
Are you going to burn your bra now? I mean,
no, I don't have to burn my bra.
You can call we call men narcissistic all the time. All he's saying is that Megyn Kelly's narcissistic. You can't call a woman narcissistic
well,
without
how do you know that she's narcissistic. I mean,
she's in the media. By
just
definition.
Really?
Yes.
So are you narcissistic
Yes.
because you're in the media?
Every person in the media and politics is a narcissist. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to speak in the microphone.
I don't agree. I mean, I don't.
I'm just saying the idea that it's a misogynistic comment because you're suggesting that someone that in a high-profile
Sticking up for my
person
girl.
is a narcissist. Give me a break. It's not misogynist. You may disagree with it, but it's not a woman-men thing. That's a cheap defense. Carl in Arlington Heights.
Off with your head.
Yeah.
Good morning, you two.
Hey, Carl.
I know of Alex Jones. I've never read any of his stuff or commentary or anything, but I wonder if NBC, the network who has doctored 911 tapes to specify a narrative that they wanted to specify, or have had anchors talk about harrowing experiences in war zones that never occurred, is the best network to expose somebody like Alex Jones.
Maybe it's the best network to give him a show. Thanks for the call, Carl. Good point. Yeah, I forgot. We're talking about Brian Williams, the network that gave you Brian Williams, and remember Jane Pauley and Stone Phillips, and their little
Stone Phillips, yeah,
their little
the original Dateline,
their little staging of the what was it, Ford, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So maybe NBC is actually the perfect network for Alex Jones, not just to appear, but to follow Megyn Kelly Sunday nights.
All right, so I'm going to watch it so you don't have to. Fine.
Great, interesting.
Good.
Also, this is happening to Megyn Kelly. Oh, no. Because this is why she went to NBC. Interesting Washington Examiner piece. Megyn Kelly falls out of favor with the mainstream. Yes, her ratings. I mean, this is a short period of time. It's a small data set. But we'll see what happens. But also just the fact that she's being criticized for giving Alex Jones this platform by TV critics and others in the old media that she so wants to be a part of because that's why she went to NBC.
Yeah, and Don Lemon says that he'd rather not give him a platform. So if he had the chance, he would skip the Alex Jones interview. And that's coming from Don Lemon, my girlfriend, my other girlfriend at NBC.
Right. I mean, who is the paragon of deep thinking and journalistic integrity.
I love Dante.
In media, particularly cable news, except when he's talking about his readiness for a relationship on New Year's Eve. Tom in
we have to play that
on
again
Chicago's
at
Morning
some point
Answer.
in time.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to mention real fast, Alex Jones recently had a custody hearing with his now ex-wife.
Yes.
And in that, he admitted he is a performance artist, and he doesn't actually stand by anything he says on his show because otherwise he would lose custody of his children. So I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Thanks for the call, Tom. We made that yesterday. His attorney characterized him as an actor. Now, is that a positioning for the custody hearing because his ravings could jeopardize custody? Perhaps. Is it the truth? Perhaps. But if it is the truth, and this is coming from his legal representation, as well as his admission to the libel case, but if it is the truth that he's a performance artist, as Tom said, then maybe the Alex Jones defenders should stop defending because they're being taken.
There's a lot of radio hosts and TV show hosts who are frauds. I mean, it's an act.
Yeah.
Not you, not me, because
we're
the real deal.
This is all an act. I'm a double agent funded by Tom Steyer and Fred Eichner. I'm not actually conservative. And by the way, that's something that an Alex Jones listener or two, defender or two out there probably would say.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. A Fed decision on interest rates expected today. KFC to send a chicken sandwich to the edge of space by balloon. Those stories next.
Fire the stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Larry Levin, and I've been on the trading floor for 23 years. I was one of the biggest traders in the S&P pit. I'm also the president of Trading Advantage, a leading educational firm teaching people how to become professional day traders. Now, for a limited time, I'm offering one of the trading techniques I use to make $1.9 million for free. Get started right now by calling 800-288-0092. Leave your email address on my voicemail, and I'll email you my free trading technique and my daily insider market report at no cost to you. This is the very information I use to build my fortune.
I was getting ready to retire. I still needed to make extra income, but I didn't want to work for anyone else. Because of Larry and his excellent instructors, I could trade successfully for myself, and I'll never have to work for someone else again.
Fire the stockbroker and hire the most dependable person you know, you. Again, call in the next 90 minutes and leave your email address on my voicemail. Call 800-288-0092. That's 800-288-0092.
The Federal Reserve set to raise short-term interest rates for a third time in 6 months. It would be a vote of confidence in the strength of the economy and especially in the resilience of the job market. Investors will also have the latest data today about the Consumer Price Index, retail sales, and business inventories. Sears cutting about 400 full-time jobs as part of its restructuring plan. The job cuts projected to save $1.25 billion in costs a year. The retailer, which has been losing money for years, has been closing stores, selling locations, and putting some of its famous brands up for sale. And next week, KFC plans to send a chicken sandwich to the edge of the atmosphere with a high-altitude balloon. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor, and Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing brick roofing is Joe's specialty. Now, Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service, Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you will deal directly with owner Joe Barron. Trust me, because I've called him, and he actually picks up the phone, Joe Barron, at Dependable Construction. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091. Or visit tuckpointchicago.net. 773-244-1091 or tuckpointchicago.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about Balance of Nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it, in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
I'm a big supporter of the product. 2 winters ago, I had, between November and March, I had 5 head colds, and each time it was like a 2-week ordeal. Last winter with your product, I didn't have a single one.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Need a new CPAP? Then we need you. We're CPAP.com, and we recently overstocked the world's best CPAP machines. Top-of-the-line devices from brands like ResMed and Philips Respironics. Call now and get one of these overstocked CPAPs for a fraction of the price. We'll even give you free next-day air shipping. Call 1-800-600-5909. The best part? No insurance needed. We're giving out these CPAPs at prices so low, they'll cost less than your copay and deductible through insurance. CPAP.com has shipped over 1 million orders and has the world's largest selection of CPAPs and accessories. With no retail overhead or costly middlemen, we're the best way to get comfortable, effective sleep apnea equipment at incredibly low prices. Again, CPAP.com has overstocked premium CPAPs. Call now to get a ResMed or Philips Respironics machine for a fraction of the price with free next-day air shipping. Call 1-800-600-5909. Hurry. When these overstocked CPAPs are gone, they're really gone. That's 1-800-600-5909.
Convenience, confidence, value. Experience all three when you bring your European vehicle to Midwest Performance Cars for maintenance and repair. BMW, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. We make it convenient for you. Our drop-off procedure has most customers on their way in under 5 minutes, and we feature complimentary Uber or Lyft service to get you where you need to be. With our tablet-based digital inspections, you'll be confident that we only recommend service your car needs. We email or text your vehicle's condition report with pictures and video so you can make an informed decision. And our 3-year, 100,000-mile parts and labor warranty provides unmatched value. We perform outstanding service and we stand behind it. Read our Google reviews and see for yourself. In Chicago at 1385 West Lake Street, book your appointment online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492. And coming this summer, we will be opening our second MPC location in Northbrook, Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we have some breaking news. Very disturbing out of Washington, D.C. The congressional baseball team was practicing and somebody opened fire, 50-plus shots fired. And according to ABC News, they believe someone's in custody.
Yeah, and also Fox News reporting that House Majority Whip Steve Scalise and at least 2 of his aides were shot. So we'll update that story starting at 7:07.
Yeah, but first, here's more on this. Here's Mike Scott.
Fox News will follow this latest at the top of the hour and throughout the morning. And today, for us, 2 men have stabbed each other at North Avenue Beach. Police investigate. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. A congressman has been shot. I'm Dave Anthony, and it happened early this morning in Virginia. Congressman Steve Scalise, the House Majority Whip, was at a baseball practice.
About 7:15 this morning, I am told by multiple sources, a gunman with a rifle arrived at the practice and began firing. I am told that Steve Scalise, the Majority Whip who plays, was shot in the hip. We're also told that multiple aides were shot as well. We don't have any conditions at this point.
Fox's Chad Pergram, a police tweet says a suspect is believed in custody. Scalise was getting ready for a congressional charity baseball game tomorrow. They thought they had to jump to survive a towering inferno in London.
And there was even a point where you saw a man literally jump from his balcony.
Not everyone got out alive. Fox's Simon Owen near the smoldering blackened apartment building live.
Dave, as the fire raged, one witness here saying she saw a woman drop a baby out window from 9 or 10 floors up. The child caught by a member of the public on the ground. It's 12 hours now since the fire department was called, and the building is still being doused with water. The 24-story tower looks to be gutted. It's a blackened shell. London police saying 6 people were killed. but it warns that number is likely to rise. Dave?
Simon, House Democrats, nearly 200 of them are going to sue President Trump today, just like two attorneys general did the other day. They claim the president is violating the Constitution, taking money from foreign governments in his businesses without congressional approval. The White House disputes that, calling the suit politically motivated. This is the day after Attorney General Sessions mixed it up with Senate Democrats, rejecting allegations of colluding with the Russians as a detestable lie. He didn't recall a third meeting with Russia's ambassador. Last year, he upset Democrats on the Intel Committee, refusing to detail his private conversations with the president. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine this morning in Chicago. 73 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. There's a manhunt underway at this hour to find a bank robbery suspect in Bridgeview. State police say two suspects have been captured. One is still on the loose. Law enforcement were seen in the area of 95th and Harlem Avenue. The Mosque Foundation of Bridgeview and other localities in that area were temporarily placed on lockdown during that search. Two men are hospitalized after they stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach in Chicago overnight. It happened during a domestic dispute. Chicago police tell us one victim remains in critical condition. Mayor Emanuel is not responding to demands that he push for a federal consent decree to govern police reform in Chicago. AM 560's David Stewart with more.
Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan says Mayor Emanuel should pursue his initial idea to seek federal court oversight for police reform. Emanuel, though, recently has said that under the Trump Justice Department, the city may pursue something short of that, a special monitor. But he said either way, he's committed to reform.
We need somebody from the outside to help us. The only question is whether you want it just to be an independent individual or you need also a judge from the federal court.
Madigan says it's ludicrous for Emanuel to seek an agreement with an administration that doesn't believe in the need for police reform. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A Northwest suburban woman charged after a young boy was found wandering alone over the weekend at Chicago's Rainbow Beach. Shadonna McFadden of Carpentersville faces a misdemeanor count of child endangerment. Suburban Chicago singer with hundreds of thousands of teen followers online faces child pornography charges for allegedly instructing two young female fans to send him sexually explicit videos of themselves. 24-year-old Austin Jones of Bloomingdale appeared in a Chicago federal courtroom yesterday. Cubs crushed the Mets 14-3. Sox winners over the Orioles 6-1. And the news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the easy-to-use AC Pro refrigerant with pressure gauge and quick connect hose is just $33.99. So keep your ride running longer, stronger, and cooler all summer long with AC Pro refrigerant. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Greta is a drill instructor.
Move, move, move!
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
Drop and give me 3,000.
But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
I got nothing.
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver. Indeed.com.
According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:06 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Skokie, Oakton is closed in Long Avenue and Laurel due to a crash. The Eden Spur eastbound is heavy approaching the Edens. Then we see delays starting around Oakton. 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, southbound 23. The Kennedy. 44 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 19 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Outbound 42 to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 7 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 51 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 to Thorndale. Stevenson, it's improved quite a bit actually, but it's still an hour and 6 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 46 minutes. Ryan is 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Crash before 159th involving a police car. Bishop Ford, 40 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. The ramp to westbound 130th, blocked with a rollover tanker. Northbound Tri-State delays, 115th to 75th. From Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tillman to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slow, northbound North Avenue to Army Trail, southbound 290 to Army Trail. Crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Hot day with clouds and sun and an afternoon thunderstorm. It will be humid with a high 92, heat index readings of 93 to 100. A couple of thunderstorms around, mainly early when they could be strong, bringing flash flooding. A low tonight of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Breaking news as it happens. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fly By Night with your host, comedian, and entertainer extraordinaire, Ken Severa. Saturdays at midnight on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we're going to keep you updated as information becomes available about this shooting that includes as victims Steve Scalise, the House Majority Whip, Republican congressman from Louisiana, and reportedly multiple aides at a baseball practice for the congressional baseball team.
Yeah, they're getting ready for a congressional charity baseball game that's going to be played tomorrow night. They're on the practice field, and according to witnesses, a man, I don't know if he drove by or was on foot, but he had a rifle. Congressman Mo Brooks, who's running for Senate now, he said that it was a rifle. 50-plus shots were fired, 5 or more, including hitting GOP whip Steve Scalise and two of his aides. And they're saying that he was hit in the hip. And Mo Brooks said that he used his belt as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding of GOP whip Steve Scalise.
Well, that's, I mean, amid bad news, that's good news that it was the hip, obviously, and that if he was... and if they were able to stanch the wound or stop the bleeding, then hopefully, obviously, he's getting the medical attention he needs and he'll be okay. But we'll update the story as we get more info.
It just reminds me of Gabby Giffords when she was shot at that Safeway parking lot in Tucson. But somebody on Twitter said it's bound to happen eventually. GOP blank holes can only blank over people so much before people start rising up. Because I'm just monitoring Twitter right now, and somebody actually...
there's goofballs out there. What are you going to do? There's no standing. Anybody who says things like that, whether it's in the context of Gabby Giffords or the context of Steve Scalise, is a goofball. So, unfortunately, we have goofballs.
ABC reporting moments ago, too, as well as Fox News, that the gunman is in custody.
All right. Well,
so we'll definitely keep you up to date with conditions, number shot, and any possible motive.
And as well as Mike Scott in the newsroom will update that story, too, as information becomes available. We'll be on it. Here's a question, though, for you. Particularly given the statement reported by AP yesterday that Trump made about Obamacare replacement, that the Obamacare replacement legislation that the House passed and he supported is too mean, and he is telling GOP senators to nicen it up a bit.
Yeah, he had a private luncheon, a closed-door meeting with 17 Republican senators and said that, allegedly. Which,
right.
There's no debate that he did say that. But
Well,
isn't he
I'm
shooting
sorry,
himself
I'm
in
so-
his
how,
foot?
how is there no debate? The White House hasn't confirmed it.
Okay.
So
They haven't denied it, though.
they're just not characterizing it, but that's been reported. So let's say that that's true.
All right.
The question is, would you vote for Donald Trump again? 6 months in, almost 6 months in. Would you vote for Donald Trump again? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And I was prompted to take stock and to ask that question because of this op-ed written by Gary Abernathy. He's the publisher and editor of the Times Gazette. You know the Times Gazette.
Which in Cedar Rapids Times Gazette? What big
The
metropolis
Times
are we talking
Gazette.
about?
The Times Gazette.
Okay, which is located in?
Hillsborough, Ohio, obviously.
Oh,
the Times Gazette. Right. So the reason the Times Gazette kind of is on the map and we're to take judicial notice of the reviews of the publisher, Gary Abernathy, is because the Times Gazette was the first newspaper and one of the few newspapers in the country to endorse Donald Trump for president. One of 6 in the nation. 6.
Wow.
And so he takes
Pioneers.
stock in his piece, which is worth reading, really is. We took major heat for backing Trump. Here's what we think now. And he writes, what Trump supporters appreciate about him are the very attributes for which he is relentlessly criticized in the media. People here, farming community, supplemented by modest paying retail jobs and a few factory opportunities, are frank and plain spoken. They're weary of politicians whose every statement seems carefully crafted to say nothing and offend no one. He goes on to say, Hillsborough is a rural setting with a majority white population, but it doesn't mean its citizens or its Trump supporters are racist, homophobic, or Islamophobic. Last weekend, I covered the opening of an exhibit at our historical society that pays tribute to school desegregation, the saga that unfolded here in the 50s. The event honored surviving members of the African-American community who lived through a chapter in local history too long ignored. Big crowd, white and black, was on hand. Steps toward racial harmony happen in Trump country, writes Mr. Abernathy. And he goes on to add, while Trump carried Highland County heavily, there are people who did not vote for him and do not care for him. But overall, despite the avalanche of negative news stories, Trump's support remains firm. Hillsborough mayor mentioned recently that he has noticed Trump yard signs popping up again. That's interesting, either in a show of support or perhaps a sign of defiance. I'm still astounded that our brief endorsement of Trump garnered such attention. In the end, Trump won Ohio by 8 points. Consider the fact that Trump won the popular vote in 30 states, but in most of those states, not a single newspaper endorsed him. Could there be better evidence of the gulf that exists between what is called the mainstream media and millions of Americans? A really interesting, thoughtful piece from Gary Abernathy. You can pick it up at StarTribune.com. The Hillsborough News Gazette is the paper. And just to the backdrop of this, right, one of the underreported stories of the week, subsumed by all the Russian collusion coverage, first coal mine.
Oh, yeah, reopened.
Right, in 60 miles southeast of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Pennsylvania, of course. This is, not inconsequential news. This is the Corsa Coal Corporation's Acosta mine, which digs up metallurgical coal for use in the steel industry and is expected to generate up to 100 full-time jobs. Fox News reporting that hundreds of job applications have already poured in. So there's what the chattering class, I guess to some extent, ourselves included, are focused on, and that's distilling every utterance of Jim Comey and Jeff Sessions and everybody else in Russian collusion. And then there's people that are looking for work. So,
Real life issues.
Yeah, your reaction to Mr. Abernathy's op-ed and to the underlying question, would you choose Trump again? Parker in Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. If we're taking it 6 months ago again, then yes, vote for Trump again. Because remember, he was up against Hillary Clinton, and I don't want to take away from Trump, but I mean, you have a candidate versus another candidate, and if it's Hillary Clinton again, then yes, you're voting for Trump again.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Parker, because I think that's a fair answer. But let's talk prospectively. Would you vote to reelect Donald Trump right now, regardless of who his opponent is in 2020?
I would. I think he's done quite a bit, his administration, but right now it's overcast by the Russian crap and the media. And, I wish he could just shut his mouth and not tweet, and then we would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Parker.
Oh, we can all dream that would happen, but it's not going to happen.
Cynthia on the north side.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I believe and would always vote for Trump, regardless of who he is up against. The people that need to be worried is the Senate GOP, who's done basically nothing to support him. I don't think the president should shut up in any way. He won a lot of because he is connected with the people. We feel like he hears us, and he definitely feels like we hear him. Thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. Appreciate that. Mark in Plainfield.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, me and my 401k definitely vote Trump again. After all, what's the alternative? That drunken cow from Park Ridge, or that socialist who wants to give everything away for free, or Pocahontas? Yeah, I definitely vote Trump again. Now, Paul Ryan or Mitch McConnell, maybe you should be asking a question about those two clowns that haven't supported Trump at all.
All right. Thanks, Mark. George in Libertyville.
Hey, guys. I mean, not only would I vote for Trump again, but I really hope that Bruce Rauner pays attention to how Trump won and starts speaking clearly and effectively to the people about what Madigan and Cullerton are doing to this state. Otherwise, he's done.
All right. Thanks for the call, George.
Well, what about you, Dan? Would you,
Amy,
if you could do it all over again, would you do it again?
No. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You're the recovering Democrat.
Ah. Yes,
what would
I am.
you do? You're the swing vote. Regardless of who his opponent is in 2020, because it will be a Democrat.
I want to keep my job.
What? Well, you could say if your honest opinion is you don't know, or your honest opinion is depending on the Democrat. Is there a Democrat that you could conceive that you would support against Trump in 2020?
Well, Joe Biden, no.
Sure.
No, there's nobody that they could run against Trump that I think would beat Trump.
No, that you would support. Not would beat Trump.
I like the fact that
Stop dodging.
No, there's two reasons why. I wanted him to reverse and repeal Obamacare so that people that I know who are on Obamacare who have cancer could live a little bit longer so they can go back to teaching hospitals such as Northwestern, Rush, University of Chicago. That hasn't happened yet. I don't see that happening anytime soon. We hope that it will happen soon. That's one of the reasons I voted Republican.
Okay.
And then another reason because Supreme Court nominee.
Okay.
And those, will be done. And then maybe I might be done with Trump. He's a little bit of an embarrassment.
Well, is there a Democrat on the horizon that you could consider supporting over Trump?
El Gallito.
Right. Not for governor of Puerto Rico, but for president of the United States.
No, I can't. I can't think of one. Can you?
No, I can't.
They don't have a deep bench. Actually, wait, they don't have any type of bench.
All right, so you're a default Trump 2020 voter.
Don't
you
pigeonhole me.
That's
in
what
anything.
I'm
just let me be me.
I'm just following the logic.
You company man wearing the Salem Media Group hat.
I like Salem Media, and I like this hat.
Salem Media.
So I'm not afraid to say that. And I'm a warrior. It says it right here on the hat, and I am. That hat is.
And this is no act.
I was a warrior before the hat.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
So, shots fired at the GOP baseball practice near Alexandria, Virginia. Congressman Scalise was shot in the hip, according to ABC News, and now we're learning that a Capitol police officer shot. Mike Scott, do you have more?
Yes, Steve Scalise was actually shot by a rifle holding person along the third baseline. He was at second base. His security detail, he is a leader, so he has a security detail. The security detail was present. The security detail was shot at. One of them was hit. One of the security members who was hit actually took down the shooter. Wow. And there were 10 to 15 members there, lots of aides, 10 to 20. And this was the end of the practice, which began about 6:15 this morning. Ron DeSantis, the congressman, left about 5 minutes ahead. Early practice, security detail swept everybody, and then lots of them left early. Traffic problems, obviously, in Washington, D.C. Everybody leaves early to get back to the Capitol. Shots were directed, according to DeSantis and Congressman Mo Brooks, the shots were directed at Scalise and his security detail.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's new information we're hearing, and they were over in the right field area. Again, the shooter was along the left field line near third base, and bullets actually, because so many were sprayed, actually went through the windows at the nearby YMCA. And so they're looking at damage and detail and seeing if anyone was injured inside the YMCA now. But that's just an investigation that's ongoing.
Yeah, and Congressman Mo Brooks used his belt as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding for the congressman that was hit. Let's go straight to the traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. 8094 eastbound, it's heavy. Burr to Grant with a crash in the left lane. Westbound jammed. I-65 decline. The Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 24. Kennedy 44 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown outbound 42. The Ike an hour and 7 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson an hour and 6 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Ryan 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford brutal 45 minutes. 8094 to the Ryan. The ramp to westbound 130th blocked with a rollover tanker. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
It's time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. 2 words, Door County. Take a few days off and escape to Wisconsin. Head on up to the White Lace Inn. It's a gorgeous bed and breakfast in Sturgeon Bay. Now, the White Lace Inn features 18 inviting guest rooms and suites in 4 elegant turn-of-the-century neighboring homes. You can enjoy the gardens, the gazebo, and the glory that is Door County. This is a $300 gift certificate for only $150, and it can be applied to overnight stays or items in their store. For another fabulous getaway adventure, purchase an overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. Spend the night in Molly's room, their 2-room luxury suite with a private bath. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies. Yours for only $85 per couple. That's a $169 value. So check out all the deals only from your good friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Would you rather get your degree from one of the most innovative online universities in the country or one of the nation's most affordable? How about both? Now you can at Southern New Hampshire University. Get degree information and see how to apply online by texting the word FRESH to 554433. College tuition is skyrocketing, making getting a degree almost impossible for too many, but it doesn't have to be that way. Founded in 1932, Southern New Hampshire University has the credibility of a New England campus, but by offering programs online, we've made education incredibly accessible and affordable. You'll discover knowledge and skills from instructors who are leaders in their field. Plus, you get all the flexibility, support, and encouragement needed to prepare you for the career you've always wanted. Southern New Hampshire University. See yourself succeed. Grab your smartphone and do the smart thing. Get degree information and see how to apply online by texting FRESH to 554433. That's FRESH to 554433.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Here's some more breaking news regarding the shooting near Alexandria, Virginia, where the GOP baseball team. Representative Jeff Duncan reportedly spoke with the gunman before the incident. The gunman asked if Republicans or Democrats were practicing.
And Mo Brooks, who was on the scene, he said he rendered aid to Scalise, the majority whip who was shot. According to Mo Brooks, at least 5 people were shot, including Scalise, a staffer, 2 members of his security detail, and the shooter.
All right, we'll keep you up to date. Hey, if you haven't bought a MyPillow yet, why not? Maybe you've seen them in a store, but the radio deal using My Name Amy as the promo code is a much better deal. It is the best deal available. And in June, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, 50% off. You'll sleep better and won't wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in the USA using only American labor. There's a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So call this number, 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit mypillow.com. Promo code Amy.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
Call Grumweedy.
if your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
Call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
Call Grumweedy.
for your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have 0 tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Couple of updates on the Scalise shooting, the shooting at this baseball practice, the GOP team practicing. We've already discussed the rifleman opening fire. We have a report that from Mike Scott that Scalise is in stable condition at George Washington Hospital. And there was another report.
That said that suspects in custody is not a threat, and the PIO from Alexandria, Virginia, is going to be on the scene shortly to share some updates.
All right, so we'll continue to update that. Mike Scott will have more in just a moment, but a couple calls just to close out our conversation about would you vote to reelect Trump if, regardless of who his Democrat opponent is in 2020. Andrew in Coal City, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. First off, my condolences to all those shot and injured in the Virginia area there. Horrible story. I would vote for Trump again against pretty much almost any Republican who might primary him. I can think of one Democrat that I would have considered voting for over Trump in the last election, and that's Jim Webb.
Yeah.
But I'd still have to hear where the two stand. I'd have to see a debate before deciding, but I would definitely give strong consideration to Jim Webb. But, of course, he's too conservative for modern Democrats.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Andrew. He's got no place in today's Democrat Party. Barbara in Wilmette.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to say absolutely no-brainer. I would vote for Trump again. And you want to talk about who's acting embarrassing? Look at what the Democrats are doing. Look at what the liberals are doing. Look at how they treated Jeff Sessions yesterday. They wouldn't even let him talk. I mean, look at all the things that Trump is trying to do, and he's not getting any help. At least he's trying. It's not just one issue. It's all kinds of things that he's trying to do. And think of what the alternative would be.
Right.
I mean, that's scary.
Thanks.
That sends chills up my spine.
Thanks for the
Think about that.
Thanks for the call, Barbara. Appreciate it.
And also, just more information on a breaking news story. Senator Rand Paul was also at the practice. Jeff Flake was there, and Rand Paul said, quote, had they not been there, that's Capitol Police, there would have been a massacre. So now let's get into the newsroom with Mike Scott, who has more information on this breaking news.
Amy and Dan, the latest from our Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. As you've been reporting all morning long, our friends at Fox and ABC continue to report House Majority Whip Steve Scalise has been hit by gunfire this morning. It happened at a baseball complex in Alexandria, Virginia, where they were preparing for the annual Democrats versus Republicans congressional baseball contest. Several others were also hit in the incident, and a suspect is in custody. Witness David Woodruff says he heard a dozen shots peel off early on.
Clearly, they were gunshots. They were echoing off the buildings that are around here. I kept running about another 20 yards and then heard 4 more shots, and at that point, ducked into a garage, called 911.
Again, the Louisiana Republican was at that baseball field along with between 10 and 15 members of Congress in the Senate and 10 to 15 aides. They were practicing for that congressional baseball game scheduled for later this week. Again, the Louisiana Republican Scalise said to be in stable condition at George Washington Hospital. Scalise has been in Congress since 2008, previously served in the Louisiana House and the Senate. Again, more breaking details on this developing story are coming as we speak. We'll get back to that story in just a moment. Here's what else we're following this morning in our newsroom. The White House says the president and vice president are aware of the reported shooting this morning that sent Majority Whip Steve Scalise to the hospital. Their prayers go with Steve Scalise and others who were injured in that incident. At least 6 are dead in London's high-rise fire that broke out overnight, a figure that is almost certain to go up, according to London Mayor Sadiq Khan.
We need to make sure that the legitimate questions people have are answered, but you'll appreciate that our focus today has to be search and rescue and then recovery.
Over 60 are hurt, over 20 of them critically after fire consumed the 24-story public apartment building. Jury deliberations continue in Bill Cosby's sexual assault trial in Pennsylvania. A manhunt is underway in Chicago and the south suburbs to find a bank robbery suspect in Bridgeview. 2 men are hospitalized. They stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach in Chicago. The incident happened during a domestic dispute. Chicago sports, Cubs over the Mets, White Sox winners over the Orioles. The news, a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care, antiperspirant, recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care has some kind of clever formula designed to look after the pits, and I guess that makes Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant the smart choice on a day like today. Then pick some up at your local retailer today. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. We've all heard what the big banks have been doing. Time to call a company that cares, Townstone Financial. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. If you're a first-time home buyer, we have a 1% down payment program and Townstone will hold your hand the entire way. If this is your second or third purchase or refinance, let Townstone compete for your business. We've been beating the big banks on interest rates and closing costs since 2002. Lastly, if you have a large amount of debt, let us help you with a cash-out refinance. Remember, nobody beats Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now at 312-896-2110 because nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone.
Listen to the Townstone Financial Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. here on AM 560. Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Deerfield, Deerfield Road is closed in both directions at the Tri-State Tollway with a crash and car fire. The Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 28. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42 at the Eisenhower. An hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes. 3:55 to the drive, outbound 46 minutes. Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. The Tri-State southbound, it's heavy. Washington to 176. Northbound, 115th to 75th. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Toll to North Avenue. Reagan to Whistler, 83 to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial, 63rd to St. Charles, and North Avenue to Army Trail. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa stores, Valvoline full synthetic motor oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and also we'll follow up with breaking details on the shooting of House Majority Whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana. That comes after an update from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Hot and humid today. Clouds and sunshine, with an afternoon thunderstorm. Will top out at 91. Currently 73. Next news at 8. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, regarding the shooting that Mike Scott was reporting on of House Majority Whip Scalise, also 2 Capitol Hill police officers. All 3 appear to be in stable condition. This is NBC reporting. Mo Brooks, a congressman who was there when the shooting occurred, told CNN that the shooter was a white middle-aged male.
Mm-hmm. And then according to another congressman, DeSantis, the shooter approached the field near the third baseline and asked him, are these Republicans or are these Democrats?
Doing this for however many weeks. The game's tomorrow night, and I actually left a little early, probably about a couple minutes before this all happened. And as I was getting into the car with one of my colleagues, Jeff Duncan, there was a guy that walked up to us that was asking whether it was Republicans or Democrats out there, and it was just a little odd. And then he kind of walked towards the area where all this happened. So we've told the police that.
Was he carrying anything?
He was not carrying anything at the time, but from where the shots were, I would think that would have probably been staged because there was no one that was obviously walking around with a rifle at the time. But it was just a little odd that he kind of really, walked up to us to ask, and then went ahead and it was probably like 5 minutes after we pulled out of the parking lot.
And part of it was reported, Mike Scott had this too, that part of Scalise's security detail, presumably one of those Capitol Hill officers, police officers, took down the shooter. He's in custody, not a threat, according to Alexandria Police, but he was shot as well, the shooter.
Right, and according to Senator Rand Paul, who was on the field, he's grateful to Capitol Police. He said had they not been there, it would have been a massacre. And right now, Scalise and 2 Capitol Police officers, they're all in stable condition at George Washington Hospital.
So I'll tell you what, I mean, I know, people are reticent to go there, but we're going to go there because the left opened up this Pandora's box long ago. And so the question that I would pose is, are we going to hear from the left the same climate of hate, blame shifting away from the shooter if Scalise and others at that baseball practice were targeted for their partisan affiliation, as Congressman DeSantis and Duncan seem to indicate based on the inquiry they received from the alleged shooter? Are we going to have the blame shifting, the climate of hate? Is that what we're going to hear from the left? Because that's what we hear in other circumstances, isn't it? It's certainly what we heard when Gabby Giffords was shot.
Oh, yeah. That Jared Loughner was some conservative Republican. You know what he was? He wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. He was just crazy.
Yeah. So we'll continue to follow this story and update the details as we get them. But the good news, as we understand it at this point, given the terrible news, is that Scalise and the 2 Capitol Police officers who were shot are in stable condition. All right, switching gears, let's talk a little public policy, and to help us do that, domestic public policy, not Russian collusion. To help us do that, we're pleased to be joined by CNN senior economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, former Trump advisor, man of many hats. He is Stephen Moore. Steve, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Good morning. By the way, I'm very close friends with Steve Scalise, so just very nervous about his condition, and prayers and hopes go out to him and his family.
Yeah, for sure. So Obamacare replacement. I mean, I see a Vox.com, left-wing website. Obamacare's in real danger. Yet I see that the Senate doesn't know what the details of the Senate proposal is going to be. Many senators don't. That's a headline in The Hill, the story in The Hill. And then, of course, the story yesterday from AP that Trump told senators the House bill that he supported is too mean, and that GOP senators need to nicen it up before they send it to conference and to his desk.
So I think the way to start this conversation is by going back to what we talked about 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago on the show, when I told you that Obamacare is now officially dead. I mean, it's not dead because of Donald Trump. It's dead because the system is in a complete state of collapse right now. Almost every other day, we hear of more and more insurance companies that are dropping out of the market. The news came out 2 days ago not by the Heritage Foundation or some right-wing organization, but by the Center Medicare and Medicare, that the insurance premiums have gone up 105% on average since between 2014 and 2016. So that's a doubling of the premiums. So the system it has to change, right? I mean, we can't continue with a system where the costs are out of control. People are losing their insurance. 1 out of 3 counties now in America have no insurance company left under the system. And the real question right now, Dan and Amy, is what direction do we go in? And the left basically wants a single-payer Canadian-style system where the government essentially runs the health insurance market. Or do we go with a system that's based more on free enterprise and competition and choice? And, I certainly hope we choose as a nation the latter, because, we do have a government-run healthcare system in America today. It's called the VA system, where people die in the hospitals. But this is a gut-check moment for the nation. And a lot of people, a lot of my liberal friends, look, as long as it's equal, even if everybody has equally crappy care, that's the system I want over something, where, rich people may get better quality of care than lower income people.
Well, how long do you think that this is going to take?
That's a great, that's a tough one, Amy. It really is. I mean, because, the last 6-8 weeks have been a complete distraction from, the public policy stuff that we want to get done. I mean, I've been concentrating 24/7 on getting this tax cut done, but, health care and tax reform have to get done this year, but they've been completely placed on the back burner as we, obsess over Comey and Russia and these other things. So I will say with high degree of confidence, though, that before the end of the year, Obamacare will be in large part repealed. Whether that happens before Labor Day or not, I can't say.
Is the Trump administration still committed to Obamacare replace before tax reform, number one? And number two, what does it mean if the AP report is true that Trump says the House bill is too mean and it needs to be nicer? What does that mean?
Well, that's it. That's just a reality. The Senate is going to come out. See, this is where I think that the conservatives made a mistake back at the beginning of the year. And, I'm as conservative as you can get. But the details of the House plan and taking that original plan down was a mistake, because the Senate is going to write the law. The Senate is going to write the law. And here is why. There's only 52 Republican senators. It's just simple math. You're not going to get a single Democrat on either side of the aisle who's going to vote for Obamacare repeal. So it has to be, the heavy lift has to be done to fix this system with only Republican votes. And that means it's simple math. You can only lose 2 Republicans. And you've got a lot of, squished Republicans in the Senate who don't want to do much of anything. So you're probably going to get, I hate to say this, but I'm just being realistic, a pretty watered down bill that does repeal some elements of Obamacare, but keeps some of the other elements in place. Now, for example, on this issue of pre-existing conditions. There is going to be a new provision in the Senate bill that's very different from the House bill that's going to provide more protections with people with pre-existing conditions. It's just a fact. But what you have to do, though, is you have to allow people to buy insurance across state lines. You have to do something about more transparency in pricing so people know what they're buying when they go to the hospital and doctor's office. And you have to do something to allow cheaper, high deductible plans that are affordable to young people so they can actually buy insurance. Because young people, by the way, millennials listening to this show, you're the ones who get screwed by Obamacare. Obamacare raises your prices 2 or 3 times more than they should be.
On the issue of just switching gears a little bit, this is an issue of particular importance to you. It's so important you wrote a book about it. That's American energy independence. We have some good news to report. You've got the first coal mine to open in many moons. This is the Acosta mine in Pennsylvania. In addition to that, you've got so far the active oil rigs in the U.S. tracking January 2010 to June of 2017. It was at its nadir shortly before, at the end of the Obama administration. 316 active oil rigs. That has jumped back up more than double to 741 from the end of Obama to present.
Wait. Give me the time frame for that. That's an amazing statistic. So can you say it again?
Yes, January 2010 to June 2017. From the Obama administration, like from 14 to 16, it drops precipitously from almost 1,600 to 316. Now it's back up to 741 in just the first 6 months of the Trump administration.
So look, as you know, I think, first of all, the climate change treaty was crazy for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is, ladies and gentlemen, the United States of America has more oil and gas and coal than any other country in the world. We're sitting on $50 trillion worth of oil, gas, and coal. So the idea of everybody stop using oil, gas, and coal is ridiculous. It's like telling people in Nebraska stop growing corn. We have a massive amount of this, and I was the one. I'm going to take a little credit here. I debated liberals all day long on CNN and these other shows, saying when Trump was like, "Oh my God, he's lying to the American people. The coal industry is never going to come back. We're never going to see the comeback of coal." Well, we're seeing it right now. You mentioned the coal mine that's reopening. There's also a 16% increase in production of U.S. coal just since Election Day. 16%, that's huge. By the way, we're using that. The world wants the coal because you need coal to have steel, right? If you want steel, you have to have coal. There's an old saying by one of my friends at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, and it's such a great one, I want to repeat it. You can build windmills with steel, right? But you can't build steel with windmills. People have to understand that. We're not going to have an industrial society with windmills and solar paneling. We're going to need coal and oil and gas. And the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, we have more of it now because of the shale oil and gas revolution than any other country in the world. And by the way, natural gas, the output of natural gas is up, hugely. And natural gas is the cleanest burning fuel out there. Why are the environmentalists aiming against natural gas?
I know. I'm going to leave that rhetorical question in that form, rhetorical. Steve,
I think I can answer the question. I think we can get around this if we can just convince liberals like Nancy Pelosi. Remember, Nancy Pelosi said, "I like natural gas because it's not a fossil fuel." So maybe we can trick the liberals into that.
Redefine it. Yeah, the left redefines everything. Why don't we? All right. He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, senior economist for CNN. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, more information, latest details for you on that shooting in Virginia with the GOP baseball team.
Including one update that Fox News is reporting. Congressman Roger Williams, who's a Republican from Texas, also shot.
Forecast real quickly. It's going to be hot and humid today. A chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, a high of 91. Travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Amy, eastbound I-80 is closed in Morris between Lisbon and 47 with a multi-vehicle crash. The Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 28. Kennedy, 55 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 48. The Ike, an hour 11, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour 19, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 49 minutes. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-400-4811. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-400-4811. That's 1-800-400-4811. 1-800-400-4811.
Hey, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your system is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call, because they work hard to take preventative measures to keep your network secured, backed up, and running nonstop. So sign up for the Turnkey experience, which includes Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Find out what Turnkey IT can do for you and for your company. Just visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. The intellectual descendants of Diogenes can continue looking for the elusive honest man in D.C. Jim Comey ain't him. Instead, it's the likes of Jim Comey who've led Americans to lose faith in the federal government's police power. And it's the likes of Jim Comey who've led Americans to legitimately conclude that the rule of law has been supplanted by the rule of men. Even Comey's concessions as to his repeated cowardice was of the calculating, I'm no hero, humble brag variety. Comey is a career D.C. political character with no character. Comey is the scheming Lothario from a tawdry daytime soap who, instead of sexual conquest, seeks to seduce others for their esteem. His situational ethics leave him awash in contradiction, but who notices or much cares in a town ripped from the pages of a Gore Vidal novel? Despite his prevarications or moral pliability, or perhaps because of them, Comey can now take the meeting notes from his Hello Kitty dream diary that he did not disclose and cash them in for a 7-figure book deal to finance more romantic weekend getaways with the missus. Another happily ever after Beltway fairy tale.
Are you in the dark? Does your site need light? The pros at ProBuilt Professional Lighting have exactly what you need. They're the creators of the only self-lighting job site light available in the market. The Wobble Light. You can hit it, run into it, knock it over, and it still won't stay down due to its patented self-lighting technology. It's portable and virtually indestructible. This industrial work light is ideal for applications requiring temporary high-output lighting for construction, manufacturing, utility, and much more. With 5 professional brands, ProBuilt focuses solely on providing lighting solutions for the professional trades. ProBuilt doesn't think of it as an accessory, but as a necessity for every job site. And they're committed to combining rugged performance with the benefits of the latest LED technology. If you're in an industry that requires professional-grade portable lighting, turn to Chicago's very own ProBuilt Professional Lighting. To find out more or get in touch, visit ProBuiltLighting.com. That's ProBuiltLighting.com. ProBuilt Professional Lighting, designed for the pros.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Ament, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Ament and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All that extra weight is messing with your health, your sleep, your social life, even your love life. Time to take control. I'm Dr. Frank Marticello, and that's exactly what I did. I always worked out, worked hard, and no matter what I did, I couldn't lose that weight. I then saw a picture of myself, and that's what did it. I had to search for a solution. I found the ideal method. I lost 80 pounds, opened Total Life Weight Loss, and that was 9 years ago, and I've kept it off. Listen to this.
I hated being on meds needed only because I was overweight. I was tired of being tired and wearing black all the time. So I turned to Total Life Weight Loss. It was truly a life changer. Total Life Weight Loss gave me support and strategies to get rid of the weight and maintain my new current weight. I love the way I look and feel.
This is a medically developed protocol that helps you lose weight fast, get healthy, and keep it off for life. Call Total Life Weight Loss now at 708-695-5999 to book your free metabolic assessment or attend one of our free educational workshops. Again, that's 708-695-5999.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so on this congressional shooting, we know Scalise was hit. He's hospitalized. President Trump tweeting out he's been hurt badly, but he's going to fully recover.
Yeah, he was at second base when the gunman opened fire, allegedly shot him in the hip. And according to Congressman Mo Brooks, he then dragged himself into the outfield to try and get away from the shooter.
And there was a report that Wenstrup, who's a congressman from Ohio and a surgeon by profession, rendered aid to Scalise in addition to Mo Brooks providing a belt as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding.
They said the gunman, middle-aged, did not say a word. Middle-aged white male did not say a word while he unleashed 50-plus rounds, some of the bullets even striking windows at a nearby YMCA.
But according to two GOP congressmen, DeSantis and Duncan, he did come up to them when he was unarmed prior to coming back with the gun and asked them if this was Republicans or Democrats practicing. Also, the report, Fox News was reporting that a second congressman, Roger Williams from Texas, also hit, but that's a bit in dispute. You know, this is fog of war stuff, so we're reporting it as we understand it and have credible news agencies reporting.
CNN also saying that one staffer, congressional staffer, was hit in the leg, another one was hit in the chest.
But on the issue of Roger Williams, HuffPost, Matt Fuller saying Jeff Flake said members jumped into the dugout and may have been injured. So Roger Williams apparently taken out on a stretcher. That may be a gunshot wound. It may be another injury. We don't know.
Because
conflicting reports.
According to witnesses, they said players were taking cover wherever they could on the field to try and get away.
Sure.
But according to Senator Rand Paul, and he said the best, he said the Capitol police officers that were there saved our lives. It could have been a massacre had they not been there, and they allegedly took down the shooter. So we'll have more on that all morning long, but here now is Mike Scott.
Very latest from Fox in just a moment. Police, Michael Brown, the police chief of Alexandria, Virginia, meeting with reporters as we speak. Fox with the very latest on this developing story for you this morning. We'll also follow up on stories here in Chicago, including a manhunt underway to try and find a bank robbery suspect in Bridgeview. We have a mostly clear sky this morning in WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. A gunman targets congressman. I'm Dave Anthony.
I do believe that without the Capitol Hill Police, it would have been a massacre.
Senator Rand Paul says they were sitting ducks at a baseball practice this morning.
He had a lot of ammo.
That's Senator Jeff Flake. Congressman Steve Scalise was among 5 people shot. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Congressman Scalise shot in the hip on this baseball diamond in Alexandria, Virginia, a suburb of Washington. Witnesses describe hearing at least 50 gunshots. Senator Rand Paul recounts the scene.
Gunshots are, ringing out. Representative Scalise goes down. We can see him, but we can't get to him because really nobody could get to him until the gunman was brought down.
No word yet on the identity of the gunman. Capitol police officers, part of Scalise's security detail, were also shot, have been rushed to the hospital. Congressman Scalise in stable condition and is expected to survive. Dave.
Rachel, those Republicans are getting ready for a charity congressional baseball game against Democrats tomorrow. President Trump put out a statement saying he's deeply saddened, calling it a tragedy. He then tweeted, "Scalise is a true friend and patriot and will fully recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with him." Nearly 200 House Democrats are suing President Trump today, accusing him of violating the Constitution, accepting money from foreign governments and his businesses. The White House disputes that, calling it politically motivated. A fire in London. Fox's Simon Owen live outside a charred, smoldering apartment building.
Dave, the tower looks to be largely gutted. The head of the fire service here calling it an unprecedented incident. This building contains 120 apartments, and the fire, which apparently broke out around 1 a.m., spread quickly. Police saying at least 6 people were killed. Witnesses described seeing people banging on the windows, screaming for help. Even now, many hours later, there's black smoke rising into the sky. Dave?
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
75 degrees, partly sunny skies at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. There is a manhunt underway in the south suburbs, centered on suburban Bridgeview this morning. State police say 2 suspects have been nabbed. 1 remains on the loose this morning. Law enforcement seen in the area of 95th and Harlem Avenue as that search widens and continues. 2 men are hospitalized after they stabbed each other during a fight at North Avenue Beach. Chicago police say the incident happened last night during a domestic dispute. 1 of the victims is in critical condition. A Northwest suburban woman charged this morning after a young boy was found wandering alone over the weekend at Chicago's Rainbow Beach Park. Shadonna McFadden of Carpentersville faces a misdemeanor count of child endangerment. Toddler discovered Sunday night, reunited with family over 12 hours later. A suburban Chicago singer with hundreds of thousands of teenage followers online faces child pornography charges for allegedly instructing 2 young female fans to send him sexually explicit videos of themselves. 24-year-old Austin Jones of Bloomingdale appeared Tuesday in a Chicago federal courtroom. Each of the counts that Jones faces, production of child pornography, carries a minimum of 15-year prison sentence. Anthony Rizzo, a leadoff home run. Cubs go on to crush the Mets in New York 14-3. Matt Davidson, a grand slam. White Sox over the Orioles 6-1. The news service of LifeLock. Some mornings opening your eyes is hard, but LifeLock's eyes are already open to a wide range of identity threats. Stuff you can't see by just monitoring your credit. If something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to lifelock.com, promo code RISK, save 10%. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Uber's chief executive and co-founder Travis Kalanick is taking a leave of absence while the company deals with its corporate culture. The report, issued after an investigation by former U.S. Attorney Eric Holder, suggests Kalanick will be stripped of some of his duties when he returns. But Kalanick is still the company's controlling investor. And an Uber board member, David Bonderman, has resigned after making a disparaging remark about women during a company meeting yesterday on its workplace culture. H&R Block earnings and sales were better than expected this tax season. The Federal Reserve wraps up its 2-day meeting today. It is expected to raise short-term interest rates. All 3 averages closed in record territory yesterday. The Dow closed up 92 points, the Nasdaq gained 44, and the S&P was up almost 11. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Not even halfway through this first year in office, the political left and dinosaur media actually think they're going to impeach President Trump. Fake scandal after fake scandal dominate the headlines in the cable newsrooms, and not surprisingly, it's even causing establishment Republicans to get wobbly. Yeah, guess it didn't occur to them that making America great again was going to take some work. Sometimes work is hard. You know it, though, and so does the president. That's also why we're here. We never get wobbly. AM 560, The Answer.
Kyle is a dog trainer.
Okay, Sid. Good boy.
In his personal time, Kyle's a personal trainer.
1, 2, good.
Kyle knows how to get results, but when it comes to mortgages, he's less confident.
Guilty as charged.
Fortunately, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so he can understand the details and know he's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
8:06. Check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Like I-80 is closed eastbound in Morris from Lisbon Road to 47. There's a crash and a helicopter has been called in. Also seeing delays on eastbound I-80 from LaGrange Road to 183rd with a crash in the right lane. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 29. Kennedy 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown a little quicker than the express outbound 48. The Eisenhower an hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to downtown 54 minutes from Manheim outbound an hour to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour and 19 minutes. 3:55 to the drive outbound 49 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford inbound, the ramp to westbound 130, it's still blocked with a crash. Tri-state delays southbound are Washington to 176, and from the Adams Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis northbound, 115th to 31st, and the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, hot and humid with clouds and sun, high 90. Partly cloudy, very warm and humid tonight, low 74. Hot and humid again tomorrow with clouds and sun. A thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 91. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Continuous news coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So updating the breaking news of this shooting in Alexandria. Capitol Hill Police and Alexandria Police just had a press conference. And here's what we know. House Majority Whip Scalise was shot. He is in stable condition, as are 2 Capitol Hill police officers and 1 aide.
1 congressional aide, correct.
And then there are dueling reports, conflicting reports about the status of Texas Congressman Roger Williams. Fox News had reported that he was also hit, and that's been also reported as that there were members of Congress that were on the baseball field, baseball practice, that dove into the dugout looking for cover, and maybe Williams was just injured. He was taken off on a stretcher, but he could have just been injured trying to avoid being shot. We don't know. But we'll continue to update this story as more info becomes available.
We do know that the gunman has been shot by Capitol Police who were protecting the congressional members who were on the field. Mo Brooks said that the rifle came over the third base dugout, which was a cinder block dugout. Shots started fire, 50 rounds. Again, 5 people hit. And,
by the
he
way,
apparently asked before he started shooting the gunman, middle-aged white man, if whether or not these were Democrats or Republicans on the field.
Right. He had asked two Republican members of Congress, Jeff Duncan and Congressman DeSantis. Also, Jeff Flake saying of those 50 shots, he says 50 shots is an understatement in
Really?
terms of how many shots fired.
Yeah, they said everyone was trying to take cover wherever they could on the baseball field and, of course, into the dugout. But I keep thinking today is President Trump's birthday. Was this lunatic nut trying to send a message on this is the president's 71st birthday?
Well, I think the more relevant question was he targeting these members of Congress because they were Republicans.
Yeah, well, they're getting ready for a big game. I mean, tomorrow night they're supposed to play at the Washington Nationals ballpark for their congressional charity baseball game. And obviously that game is not going to be played. I can't imagine that it would be. Don't know for sure, but that's why they were practicing early this morning. Senator Rand Paul was out there, too, and he said, you know, if it weren't for the Capitol Police, there would have been a massacre because they took down the gunman.
Right. He was shot before being taken into custody. The gunman reportedly shot. And then another congressman, a Republican from Ohio, who's a surgeon by trade, Brad Wenstrup, apparently rendered aid to Scalise, as did Mo Brooks, who's a Republican congressman from Alabama, who I guess used his belt as a tourniquet because Scalise was shot in the hip.
U.S. Capitol Police and Alexandria Police Chief had a very brief news conference. They didn't take questions from the media, and they said 5 people were hit. He would not release the IDs, even though we know who was hit, and he wouldn't release what hospitals they were taking to because of a safety precaution.
But but right now there's 5. But we've got Scalise, we've got an aide, we've got 2 Capitol Hill officers, and then we maybe have Congressman Williams,
Or maybe it's
not.
the gunman that they're including.
Maybe they're including the gunman,
Yeah.
right. So we'll be as responsible and specific as we can as information becomes available from credible news sources. But in the meantime, we turn to the issue of leadership and team building, particularly in the context of presidential administrations as well as military operations and the marriage of the two. And to help us discuss this issue, we're pleased to be joined by Chris Fussell, who is a U.S. Navy SEAL. He's also a partner at the McChrystal Group Leadership Institute, and is the author of the book, One Mission, How Leaders Build Teams of Teams. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on this morning. It's disheartening to hear the news going on there in Northern Virginia.
Yeah. So you were a Navy SEAL, are a Navy SEAL. And now you're still in the business of team building, but broader than in a military context. What recommendations would you have for the Trump administration, as frankly, they're still in the very early stages of building out their entire administration's teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult challenge, obviously, and I think, as outsiders coming in, obviously there's a lot of rules to the road to figure out, and there are deep networks inside of any organizations that has existed for a long time, as our government has. So bringing in more outside views, it takes a while to start to connect the dots across different boundaries. So one of our core theses inside of One Mission and the work we do with organizations is understanding and highlighting those networks and starting to build true trust-based cross-functional relationships. So I would start there, and I think this extends beyond the White House, but just to the Beltway in general, to try to overcome the gridlock. This is about individuals understanding and respecting one another's viewpoints. They might disagree with it, but understanding the perspective they have and trying to find some sort of common ground toward an overarching mission that makes sense for everyone. That's the idea of One Mission. That's what worked for us inside the special operations community, where it's easy to think from the outside, well, the goal there is just to win because it's combat. Well, it's never that simple. Everyone has a different perspective on a complex fight. That's what we encountered with Al-Qaeda in multiple theaters around the world, and we had leadership that was willing to step in and say, look, this is a hard fight. It's very complex. We've got a skilled threat network here. Everyone has a different perspective on how to attack that problem. Everyone has very, very strong sort of tribal norms inside of their teams or their organizations. We as a collective have to figure out each other's perspectives. We have to respect one another's views on the fight and find an overarching mission that we can accomplish together. And so I think, all too often in the Beltway today, all of our senior-most leaders get pulled down into the tactical level, and that's a sign of dysfunction of the system. The world is just moving too quickly for that to happen. So I'd encourage all the leaders to get up to the strategic level and find that common narrative. That's what the American population wants and deserves, is what's the overall theme that we're trying to accomplish here. And then political parties and different individuals underneath that can figure out their role in accomplishing that singular mission.
But even if we're trying to be nice, I mean, look what happened a few days ago. 3 American soldiers were killed by Taliban insiders. What do they call it? Blue on green? I mean, people were trying to train, took their weapon and turned it on 3 of our own. And it's just a headline that no one's even discussing.
No, that's right. And I think, anytime you see things like that overseas, obviously, and given my background and time there, it's just exceptionally disheartening to see. It's the reality of a complex fight. It's the reality of an insurgent-based threat network. But to your point, the fact that we're too mired in just sort of day-to-day headline, almost tabloidy issues, it runs the risk of missing the big picture here. There is a world out there that is still moving very quickly. It's creating complex problems on a daily basis, and as long as our leaders, regardless of which side of the aisle, are being pulled into the headline chasing, they're missing the fact that the world is out there moving on without us in some cases, or presenting, to your point, very real and dire issues that our men and women in uniform are facing on a daily basis.
The McChrystal Group Leadership Institute, where you're a partner, that's General Stanley McChrystal, right?
That's correct, yeah. So I was in the SEAL teams for about 15 years, served several tiers underneath then General McChrystal, and spent 1 year on his immediate staff in 2008, 2009, when he was running this global counterterrorism task force, and we got to be close in service, and we've remained good friends since then, and we've been partners at the McChrystal Group for the last 5 years.
I got to ask you about this Netflix movie starring Brad Pitt called War Machine, where Brad Pitt plays, basically a caricature of McChrystal, from my take on it, and what you thought of that, and who portrayed you in the movie.
Well, I don't have time to watch movies these days, so I can't really comment directly on it. It's based on, if I understand correctly, sort of a history of events there that was debunked by Army investigations. So I would assume the accuracy is not quite there. But I'm quite confident that I'm not portrayed in the movie because I was not on McChrystal's staff at that point.
Well, now one of the things, just in terms of McChrystal's tenure and how this feeds into the work that you do now, of course, the famous Rolling Stone interview that he gave, and that's portrayed in the movie, and where he was perceived to be critical of his commander-in-chief at the time, President Obama. And I wonder, because we have a similar dynamic now in the intelligence community with those that don't want to be openly critical of President Trump, so they leak information and so forth. When your executive, your commander-in-chief, whether it's literally in the military or whether it's an approximation in the private sector, is doing something you find untoward, unethical, perhaps even illegal, how do you rally the team around setting things right in an environment where there is a real disconnect in terms of behavior consistent with the stated ethos of the organization?
Yeah, I mean, the greatest example I saw of this in my own time in the service was from General McChrystal, who constantly reminded us. I mean, we lived in sort of the deeper, shadowy areas of the global conflict, but was a constant reminder that we are here at to serve the civilian leadership. We're here on behalf of the nation. We cannot take our mission as the first and foremost, most primary important thing out there. We are part of a bigger machine. So we always have to put that first and foremost in how we think about our role in the fight and communicate underneath that umbrella. I think the best leaders can avoid the temptation to get involved in the daily sort of headline churn and focus on the bigger picture and constantly communicate. Here's why we exist as an enterprise. Here's what we're going to accomplish based on the direction that our civilian leadership is suggesting and the way the nation wants to go. Anytime we see too senior folks getting pulled into the lower level issues, I think it's a bad indicator. Of course, that there's history of how games are played in Washington, and we can recognize that, but it doesn't make it right or justified. And I think if there's one entity out there that consistently tries to take that proper high road, it's been the U.S. military, and I've consistently been impressed by the willingness of senior leaders to put country and mission first and foremost in their thinking.
All right. Who would you like to play you in the movie about you when it's made?
I would have said Brad Pitt, but
maybe. Yeah. Okay. He is Chris Fussell, former U.S. Navy SEAL, partner at the McChrystal Group Leadership Institute.
Christian Bale.
Author Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
You want Christian Bale to play you?
No, Chris.
Oh,
you
Christian
should play.
Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about The Rock? I think maybe The Rock. He's also the author of the book One Mission: How Leaders Build Teams of Teams. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks to you both. Have a great day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
Doesn't he look like Christian Bale? Yeah. Okay. Well, yes. Forecast for today, hot and humid. Let's keep our fingers crossed for an afternoon thunderstorm, a high of 91. Tonight, some strong thunderstorms that can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. And for Thursday, a thunderstorm in spots early. Otherwise, clouds and some sun for our golf tournament, a high of 93 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. And Morris, eastbound I-80 is closed. Lisbon to 47. Medevac choppers have called into a crash. Farther east, we have delays. LaGrange Road to 183rd with a collision blocking the right lane. The Edens is 20 minutes from Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 29. The Kennedy, 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 32 in the Express, outbound 48 to the airport. The Ike, an hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 54 minutes from Manheim, outbound an hour 8 to Thorndale. There was a crash at 9th Avenue. Stevenson, an hour 15, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 41 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's heavy on the Reagan Tollway from Highland to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A little more update on our breaking news story. Roger, the congressman out of Texas, Roger Williams, his aide, was one that was wounded. That's the one congressional aide that was shot. Summer's here. School is out. It's festival season. Elk Grove Rotary Fest is taking place this week, featuring live bands, vendors, rides, a car show, and raffles. For more information, visit elkgroverotaryfest.com.
Want to feel like a total boss? Then switch to the best deal in America, Total Wireless. With Total Wireless, you get America's largest, most dependable network plus 5 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited talk and text for only $35 a month. Whoa, how did you get all that? Oh, that's right. You're totally a total boss, and you never sign a contract. Total Wireless, total confidence. Available at Walmart. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at TotalWireless.com.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
You need to switch your cell phone service to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile was founded to support conservative causes while providing the same great nationwide cell phone coverage that you're already used to enjoying. Patriot Mobile allows you to donate up to 5% of your monthly bill to the conservative organization of your choice at no extra cost to you. Do what I'm doing. Do like me. Switch to Patriot Mobile and support the conservative agenda. Switch today and get a free iPhone with a $50 unlimited talk, text, and data plan, or a free Galaxy phone with a $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan. They will also buy out your current contract up to $500 per line. There's no catch. Call 800-A-PATRIOT, and Patriot Mobile will even waive your activation fee with promo code Joe. Or go to patriotmobile.com/Joe.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, as is always the case with these things, there are conflicting reports and some details that are changing. We're trying to filter some of the news reports, too, before we go with them, because I know from personal experience, I was on the air when Gabby Giffords was shot at WLS, and ABC News reported twice that she had died.
Yeah.
And so we went with it, only to have to, thankfully, reel it back in, of course. But that's just the nature of these things. So now there's a report that 2 of the people of the 5 shot, and we believe that one of the 5 is the shooter. That's how they're reporting it. So we know, sort of generally speaking, the identities of 4. 2 of the people now reported in critical condition at George Washington Hospital, and that's contrary to the original report, which is that Scalise and the 2 Capitol police officers, that would be 3 of the 4, were all in stable condition. So now 2 in critical condition.
Yeah, and Representative Roger Williams' aide is one of those who was wounded. Also, too, one that might be in critical condition might be the shooter. He was paired in with, or, part of the 5 who suffered gunshot wounds. But again, 50-plus rounds shot. And Senator Flake said one member had their son on the field and says 50 shots fired. An understatement from what it felt like. As soon as the first shots were fired, everyone was scrambling for cover on the baseball field and went into the dugouts. The shots apparently came over the third base dugout. And Scalise was on second base after getting shot in the hip. He apparently crawled into center field to try and escape the gunman.
And again, you look for motive in these circumstances, of course, these shootings, crimes in general. And you had 2 Republican Congressmen, DeSantis and Duncan, said that the alleged shooter came up to them, unarmed, of course, prior to opening fire, and asked them if the people practicing were Republicans or Democrats, to which they said Republicans. Then he left, and then he came back opening fire.
This morning, received a call via our communications of shots fired at this location. Officers who were on scene responded and engaged a suspect with gunfire. Very shortly thereafter, the Alexandria City Police and other units responded to assist. And at that point, we were able to calm the situation into victims were transported to the hospital.
All right, so it sounds like police arrived too and helped take down. That's Michael Brown, the Capitol Police Chief.
Right, Capitol Police Chief Mike Brown. So we'll have more on this, and so will Mike Scott in our newsroom, who we turn to now.
75 degrees and partly sunny in our Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. And let's just continue the thought this morning as we continue to provide breaking details and coverage this morning of the shooting of House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. He's among the group injured after a gunman opened fire during an early morning baseball practice for GOP members of Congress. Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake was shagging fly balls during the time the shooting opened up, and says Scalise was at second base fielding balls while batting practice was going on.
All of a sudden, we heard a very loud shot. Everybody thought that sounds like a gun, and the gunman was over by the third base dugout with a clear view of the field and everybody on it.
The shooter believed to have fired dozens of shots at that baseball practice in Alexandria, Virginia. Early reports say anywhere from 50 to 80 shots were fired. Flake went on to say that many of those shots could have been friendlies, in other words, Capitol Police returning fire. So they really have no idea exactly right now how many rounds were fired by the original gunman. Police do have a suspect in custody, injured. The annual congressional baseball game is scheduled for June 15th. By the way, another congressman injured is Roger Williams of Texas. He was carried away on a stretcher, although his office is saying he was not shot, just injured in the aftermath. However, a member of Williams' staff was among those shot at that event. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul admits if it weren't for the two heroic Capitol Police officers, the shooting would have been a massacre.
I could see way in the distance, and everybody was saying he has a blue shirt on, but I could not see. The gun sounded like an AR-15 to most of us, and we couldn't see the gun, but it was a rifle.
Paul has described that weapon used by the shooter as a rifle several times. Democrats, by the way, were practicing at another location. Democratic baseball team members were somewhere else, and they were seen huddling in prayer after getting word of the shooting. Other stories we're following this morning in the newsroom. The London Fire Commissioner says several firefighters have sustained injuries battling a blaze in West London that has killed as many as 6 and injured 20 critically. The head of Michigan's health department and the state's chief medical officer, the latest to be charged in the investigation of Flint's lead-contaminated water. Dr. Eden Wells is charged with obstruction of justice and lying to a police officer. Manhunt underway to find a bank robbery suspect in Bridgeview. State police say 2 suspects have been captured, but 1 remains on the loose in the south suburbs. Cubs over the Mets in baseball last night, while the White Sox topped the Orioles. The news is a service of Dove Men Plus Care. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is fed up with the Trump bashers.
When I listen to people, colleagues of mine, he shouldn't tweet. You don't think he knows what he's doing? Well, but that's not protocol. He's not protocol. He's the proverbial bull in a china closet. It's who he is. My gosh, I'm so fed up with these haters. And the haters come in all political stripes.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Many of our listeners are ready to transition into a quality and worry-free retirement. Here's Mike Gibbons of the Gibbons Financial Group.
Thanks, Dan. Last year, we brought you our complimentary Social Security maximization planning, allowing listeners an optimal claiming strategy. While this was invaluable to many of you, proper planning should regard the totality of income through market movements. Our software will show you how to maximize retirement income. We'll also show you possible scenarios that could reduce your future income. This level of planning detail typically costs upwards of $1,500, but for AM 560 listeners, we're offering it at no cost. So if you're considering retirement, go to retiremetoday.com to view our retirement readiness video, or call Gibbons Financial Group at 224-419-5550 for your complimentary analysis. It's your future. That's retiremetoday.com or call 224-419-5550.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
8:35, let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike and Morris. Eastbound I-80 remains closed due to a crash and vehicle fire. A helicopter responding to the scene. Eastbound I-80 has delays as well between LaGrange Road and 183rd with the crash. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound it's 30. Inbound Kennedy 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 38. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound it's 50 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes from 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy 115th most of the way to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Also still southbound, a little bit heavier on 176, and it's slow approaching the O'Hare Oasis. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Hot and humid, times of clouds and sun today with an afternoon thunderstorm possible. High of 91. Strong storms possible overnight could bring flash flooding or damaging winds. A low of 72. Updating the temperatures officially this mid-morning at O'Hare, 79. 69 along the lakefront, 68 officially at Midway. Your next news update is at 9. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com and breaking news with Dan and Amy as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. Make time for Dad with a Grand Seiko watch from MJ Miller in downtown Barrington.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, we do a Freedom Fest every year.
Sure do.
Yeah. Well, ours is in October.
Normally October and November.
Always big fun. There's another Freedom Fest going on in the summer, so you can do a summer and a fall, early winter one. This one is in Las Vegas. It's at the Paris Resort. They got my money. And it is...
Do you want to talk about your gambling problem now?
It's not a problem unless I lose.
Oh!
Freedom Fest. This is an annual event, and we talked to our friend Mark Scusen about it each year. And we're pleased to do so again. Mark Scusen from Eagle Financial Publications. Thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Great to talk to you about Freedom Fest. We have a great show this year. We're expecting a record crowd of over 2,000 people in hot Vegas, because it is in July.
Yeah, it's a dry heat.
It's all air conditioned.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on outside the city, right? Outside the casinos.
So who are the big headliners this year?
Well, first of all, we have William Shatner of Star Trek and Priceline fame.
Nice.
Coming, and he is going to speak about art and business, and he's Hollywood's #1 entrepreneur. We have Steve Forbes celebrating his 70th birthday at Freedom Fest, which is going to be a special occasion where we're going to honor his life and his work
Also
on flat taxes and gold standard and free market capitalism and that sort of thing.
A noted
We have all
Trekkie, Steve Forbes. Noted Trekkie.
Yeah, another Trekkie. At that age, we're all Trekkies, right?
That's right.
So, but we do have a lot of great people from telling us what's going on in Washington. We're having a big Trump debate like we did last year where people were throwing tomatoes and stuff. It was really pretty fun to watch. So, yeah, it was Trump has always been very controversial at Freedom Fest. He came 2 years ago at the beginning of the election campaign on 7/11 in 2015, standing room only. Half the crowd booed him, half the crowd gave him a standing ovation. He's been very controversial because we're largely a libertarian conference and conservatives as well. So you get a nice mix of people who have differing opinions on Trump. So the next year we had a big debate, 2 for, 2 against. It was very. Normally we have very civil debates. We had Paul Krugman once come, and he was treated very civilly. This one, people were very emotional about Trump, and so we're going to do another Trump debate, pro and con, and we actually have a Mexican citizen who supports Trump and a Mexican citizen who's against Trump. So that should be interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, and so the event, the 3-day event, it's for, as you're kind of indicating, like-minded people to come together to network a little bit, to discuss issues that are of importance of a public policy and economic interest in nature, right?
Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. It's kind of a Renaissance gathering. So we talk philosophy, history, science, and technology. We have healthy living. John Mackey of Whole Foods Markets does a talk every year on the Whole Foods diet, and he has a new book out on that level. We have Mark Elliott coming and talking about Charlton Heston. He's Hollywood's #1 biographer, talking about Charlton Heston, and his son Fraser is coming, who actually played Moses, the baby Moses in the Ten Commandments.
Nice.
So it's going to be kind of fun to meet. So there's a lot going on there. We have a film festival, the Anthem Film Festival. So if people go to freedomfest.com, that's where they can see all of these incredible, and we have over 200 speakers, over 2,000 attendees. This is a very big event, and it is kind of we call it the world's largest gathering of free minds. We do have an investment conference as well, because financial freedom is just as important as our political freedoms. So it's really quite a fun event. We also have and we're going to do an historic photograph of the top libertarians. Newsmax just came out with the 100 most influential libertarians, including John Stossel, who is going to give a speech at Freedom Fest called Confrontation, My Run-Ins with Donald Trump, Ted Turner, and Other Central Planners. That's his topic, with video to show it.
Well, that'll be good. I'll tell you what, yeah, next year, if you need a little, something to lighten the mood, I could do stupid human tricks with my dog Hayek. So,
Hayek?
Yeah, Hayek. It's named after F.A. Hayek. That's right.
That's funny.
Your dog could jump through a hoop by then, right?
And then maybe I could do a nice kind of candlelit reading of Witness, or something like that. I'm just trying to get in on the action, Mark.
But Mark, tickets.
Well, you are showing your age if you're talking about Whitaker Chambers' book.
Well, yeah,
he is 95.
Yeah,
so
right.
Tickets go on sale today. Where do we buy tickets again? Is it info@freedomfest.com?
Yes, it's freedom. Just go to freedomfest.com, and our dates are July 19th through the 22nd at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas. And $100 off if you use the code SALEM, SALEM, all caps, or on the registration fee. So it's a good deal.
All right, so July 19th, 22nd, Paris. It's right there on the Strip, centrally located. Good time.
You know it well, huh?
I do know it well. Deep thinkers, a little philosophy, maybe partaking in games of chance. And again, make sure you use the promo code SALEM for $100 off. 19th to the 22nd of July at Paris. Mark Skuzin, Eagle Financial Publications. Thanks so much for joining us again to talk about Freedom Fest. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
More updates on our breaking news story. We're learning right now that one of the Capitol Police officers is a female, and she is at MedStar in D.C. along with Scalise, who is also there.
And in surgery right now.
Yes. Forecast for today, hot and humid, a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, a high of 91. Tonight, some strong thunderstorms that can bring flash flooding and high winds. And for Thursday, a thunderstorm in spots early in the morning. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies, warm, a high of 93 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. The inbound Kennedy is heavy, starting at Nagel. Actually, now starting at Foster. 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 35 from Montrose. 32 in the Express. Outbound 48 to the airport. The Eden's 19 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 47 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 56 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes from 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30 minutes, 8094 to the merge. The ramp to westbound 130th still closed. The rollover tanker. Tri-State southbound, slow Washington to 176. And from the Adams Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis, northbound Southwest Highway to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Reagan Tollway slow Highland most of the way to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. From Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Hey, if you weren't happy with your son or daughter's education this year at a public school, then we want to remind you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can purchase a tuition voucher for a full year at half the price. There's no catch. There's schools located all across the Chicagoland area, Northwest Indiana, including Kankakee, Oak Lawn, Chicago, Downers Grove, just to name a few. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
All Nissans are created equal. It's Nissan of St. Charles that makes the difference. At Nissan of St. Charles, we go the extra mile to make sure your happiness lasts as long as you own your vehicle. Every new Nissan or used vehicle we sell comes with our exclusive Lifetime Advantage warranty. So when you get your new Nissan at Nissan of St. Charles, you'll drive with peace of mind, knowing it's backed by our exclusive warranty that lasts the lifetime of your vehicle. Be sure to ask about our Lifetime Tire program. And this month only, Nissan of St. Charles is giving away a brand new Nissan Sentra. That's a new 2017 Nissan Sentra. Just visit Nissan of St. Charles by June 24th and register for our giveaway. Or visit nissanofstcharles.com for complete details. Nissan of St. Charles, located on North Avenue in the heart of St. Charles. Or visit us online at nissanofstcharles.com. Nissan of St. Charles. Experience the difference.
They're here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. If you're purchasing a home within the next year, this is very important. Your credit score is the most important factor in determining your interest rate and monthly payments. I strongly advise listeners purchasing a home to contact me as far in advance as possible so I can pre-qualify you for free. I will analyze your credit and make recommendations to improve your credit scores so you can secure the lowest rate when purchasing a home. Paying banks and other lenders a fee to get pre-qualified is ridiculous. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com and get pre-qualified for free. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358, and MLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Some updated information as it pertains to House Minority Whip Scalise. Apparently, from Majority Whip, excuse me. He said prior to entering surgery, the whip was in good spirits and spoke to his wife by phone. Currently, he's in surgery right now for that hip wound. He's at MedStar in D.C.
As is that Capitol police officer, one of the Capitol police officers at least, that was wounded, who's a female, right?
Yes, and we don't know the extent of her injuries, but that agent who was shot is also at MedStar in D.C. Now, one person, there were several.
So we got five shot. We got Scalise in surgery in stable condition. We have 2 Capitol Hill police, it was reported. We have 1 congressional aide, an aide of Roger Williams, a Republican from Texas. And there was also reports that he's been injured, but we don't know the extent of it. And then it seems that the reporting of the 5th is on the shooter being the 5th person shot. The shooter was shot by Capitol Police defending the members of Congress that were there, and his condition is unknown.
And one person that was Senator Rand Paul, he decided to stick around for some more BP batting practice because they were supposed to have this big game where they play at Washington Nationals ballpark tomorrow night against the Democrats, who, by the way, were at a separate field practicing this morning. But Senator Rand Paul, I mean, it touches your heart.
I was in the right field batting cage outside of the fence line, and the first shot rang out. And, you know, I grew up in the South. I'm used to hearing an occasional shotgun, and I wasn't sure. It didn't sound like a shotgun, but it did sound like a rifle. And then there were a couple of seconds. Everybody kind of looked up and heard the sound, but we were about ready to go back around our business. Nobody dropped to the ground. Nobody ducked. Nobody did anything that I could see. But then 5 or 10 shots in a row very quickly rang out, and that's when everybody was hitting the dirt. I saw Scalise go down at second base. There were staffers running from the perimeter of the outfield from the third base sign where the shooter was all the way to where I was. So I was in the far perimeter of right field. And I often give Senator Flake a ride home, and just about a minute before I'd been at the batting at home plate, and I walked by him at the dugout, and I said, I'm going to go one more time for one more batting cage in the right field. And as it turns out, that was at the farthest point. So I'm in the right field. I'm at the farthest point on the field of anybody from the gunshots. But the gunshots are still hitting in the dirt in right field where there are 2 staffers laying on the ground. I think one of them may have been hit, but between me and them is about a 15, 20-foot fence. So one of the staffers decides, the heck with this, I'm not staying here. The bullets are flying all around me. He decided to climb the fence, and he climbed a 20-foot fence in about 3 seconds, plopped down behind me, and there was a big oak tree behind the batting cage. He and I are behind the oak tree. But the gunshots are still going in the dirt in right field in the warning tracks, so about 5 or 10 feet from us. And at some point, I'd say 50 or 60 shots at least have been fired from the shooter, and then we start to hear the Capitol Hill police respond, and theirs is a different weapon, so you hear pistol shots going back at the shooter. I can tell you that I think with absolute certainty nobody would have survived without the Capitol Hill police. They saved everybody's life, incredibly brave, and deserve everyone's praise, because with this guy, who knows how heavily armed he was, but nobody else had a weapon, so he was just killing everyone. He would have. And I think the Capitol Hill police, apparently both were wounded. I hope they survive, and, they deserve our gratitude for saving. It would have been a massacre without them.
Oh, my. I mean, you don't get any finer detail than that.
Yeah, and of course, Rand Paul was in right field because he's a bad baseball player, so they put him out there.
Oh, you know what, Dan? Too soon. Way too soon.
So here's on the serious side. So there was reports about how heavily armed, to Rand Paul's point, how heavily armed the shooter was. There was talk of a rifle and maybe an additional handgun. I haven't seen that confirmed. I don't know. It could have missed it. We're trying to manage information. It becomes available, and of course, it's coming in from all kinds of outlets, and there's reports that are conflicting, and so we're just trying to distill it as we find it, credible and worthy of passing along. So we're not passing along misinformation.
But what was the gunman didn't speak during the shooting, but he spoke to 2 congressmen before the shots were fired.
Doing this for however many weeks. The game's tomorrow night, and I actually left a little early, probably about a couple minutes before this all happened. And as I was getting into the car with one of my colleagues, Jeff Duncan, there was a guy that walked up to us that was asking whether there was Republicans or Democrats out there, and it was just a little odd. And then he kind of walked towards the area where all this happened. So we've told the police that.
Was he carrying anything?
He was not carrying anything at the time, but from where the shots were, I would think that would have probably been staged because there was no one that was obviously walking around with a rifle at the time. But it was just a little odd that he kind of really, walked up to us to ask. And then went ahead and it was probably like 5 minutes after we pulled out of the parking lot.
So, I mean, we don't know that individual is the shooter, but it certainly sounds like it.
Yeah, he was wearing a blue shirt.
And so these are all ifs at this point. I don't want to assume facts we don't know. But if that individual was the shooter and if the individuals on the field, their partisan affiliation was the reason for his opening fire. Oh, that certainly opens up an additional political angle to this, particularly as it pertains to the left, where they are so want to blame shift and talk about a climate of hate. Climate of hate, of course, advanced by Republicans in the wake of shootings of this sort. When it's been like, for example, Congressman Gabby Giffords, who was injured.
Right, and at that point in time, everyone said Jared Loughner was a crazed conservative, and that's why he did it. And it had nothing to do with political affiliation because he was apolitical.
Well, although the content in his residence was actually hard left, totalitarian. Okay. So, but yeah, that's.
But people have already taken to Twitter saying this was bound to happen. GOP blank holes can, blank over people so much before people start rising up.
Well, the interesting thing will be to see, the useful, the rank and file nitwits out there are to be ignored. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of response, other than the pro forma thoughts and prayers, you'll get from the left on this topic, since they're very happy to weigh in when it's someone who's not a Republican who's victimized.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Want to feel like a total boss? Then switch to the best deal in America, Total Wireless. With Total Wireless, you get America's largest, most dependable network plus 5 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited talk and text for only $35 a month. Whoa, how did you get all that? Oh, that's right. You're totally a total boss, and you never sign a contract. Total Wireless, total confidence. Available at Walmart. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at TotalWireless.com.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Got a great night's sleep last night. Woke up feeling refreshed, reinvigorated, ready to start my day, all thanks to MyPillow, because the patented fill conforms to your neck and back to give you the best sleep ever. They're made right here in the USA using only American labor. And our good friend Mike Lindell stands behind his product so much so that it gives you a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And in the month of June, you could get 50% off the 4-pack, which is 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for 50% off. They're hypoallergenic, which is good. They're washable and dryable, which is great, especially during this horrific allergy season that we're having. You can wash it and dry it and go back to sleep the next night. So call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy or MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Mo Brooks has been, he was there. He was on third baseline when the shooting happened, and he used a tourniquet. He used his belt as a tourniquet, and he's really just been the person that has been interviewed the most, I think, by all the stations because he was there, there and saw it happen.
And Ohio Congressman Brad Wenstrup, who's a surgeon by training, also rendered aid to Scalise, and it's also reported that after the shooting had subsided, after Capitol Police took down the shooter, Jeff Flake pulled out Scalise's phone and called Scalise's wife so she didn't have to wake up to the news. So that was thoughtful. We're going to everybody coming together to render aid and be thoughtful of one another. So Mike Scott will continue to update this story, and we'll, as I'm sure Mike Gallagher will, following us, and we'll
programming throughout the day. We'll have the latest on the shooting,
and we'll be back tomorrow with breaking news as it happens.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is once again Mike Scott.
We're following developments here in Chicago after a manhunt was started overnight in suburban Bridgeview for a bank robbery suspect. No bail.